York's only local show is back on its new home on York's only local station.
Guess who's back again.
This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
I'm back.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
And welcome to a Monday morning edition of the Gary Sutton Show, the final Monday of September 2025. It is the 29th of September on this date. And Mark McKenzie with you. I'm Gary Sutton. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. All brought to you by Barley Snyder Attorneys at Law. With over 29 different disciplines practiced, Pennsylvania and Maryland are lucky to have Barley Snyder Attorneys at Law. 130 plus attorneys ready to help your business, ready to help you when it comes to your particular business. And man, do they have the experts. And they are the sponsors, the presenting sponsors of our show each and every day here on WOYK here in York, 100 East Market Street. They're open 9 to 5 each day, and you can call them at 717-846-8888. But check them out right now at barley.com, BARLEY.com. And we are so proud to have them as partners here on our show. Today is Monday, and National Coffee Day. I don't drink coffee, but to all of you who do, a great day there. But that's a minor thing today. A lot happening over the weekend. Penn State losing yet another tough one. In double overtime the other night to Oregon on a whiteout night where they missed having the biggest crowd ever in Penn State history by 16 people.
That's not all they missed.
No, I know. A little anger right there. I can hear it.
It's ridiculous.
So we had that going again. We had the Ryder Cup, one of the greatest comebacks yesterday, but the Europeans hanging on to hold on to the cup, although it took a little bit more than they thought it was going to take yesterday as the Americans came on rushing.
They did.
The end of the regulation of baseball season ended yesterday. The Revs got tied up 1-1 in the championship series. We'll play some of that for you later on as well. And the power went out last night. We were here at the stadium, and the power snapped off, kind of like it did last week during our show one day. And I'm wondering, is the grid in New York that bad? I don't know. I mean, I don't know why it went out. I don't know what the reason was, but and everybody's sitting here in the dark here at the stadium. It was just odd. I mean, it was.
And how long did it last?
I don't know. I left. Because I thought, I don't want to just stay overnight here and get up here in the morning. I was just. So it got to be, and I said, Daryl, you mind if I leave? I said, it's 9-3. And he goes, no. He said, but it was not the way we wanted to end our last game. That's our last home game of the year. And the rest of the games now will be played down in High Point. So we have that. Had NFL playing in Dublin yesterday and talking about where they're going to take the game of football around the world. We had a shooting, a fire, a car busted into a service yesterday, and a former veteran. We'll be talking with Joe Decree about that today a little bit. What a horrible. It seems like we can't go through a weekend where we don't have something horrible happen anymore. And just, you don't know. What do you say? I mean, there's no common strand. We see with the final, the final Northern York regional policeman who was shot in the incident a couple weeks ago got out of the hospital this weekend.
Good news.
Although Deputy Sheriff Godfrey is still in the hospital, but doing well, a satisfactory condition. So we had that happening over the weekend. We've got all kinds of other stories that we're going to try to get at today. There's so much that if we don't get it all today, we'll work on it throughout the week here. And then, of course, tomorrow night, we have the government possibly shutting down. So that's certainly on the table here. We don't have a budget yet here in the state of Pennsylvania. And that's just the good news. No, I know. No, that's the news that we have right now. So there's a quick thumbnail sketch. But today is.
I should go way more often.
I know. And Mark got back from the Ryder Cup, and I want to hear about that this morning. But National Coffee Day, Mark, just one of the things on the list
today. I like coffee. It doesn't like me.
Yeah.
Nicotine was not nicotine. Caffeine. But caffeine always plays havoc with my gut after I turned like 40.
Yeah.
So, but I do appreciate a good espresso.
I like smelling coffee. I'm
one of the great smells.
Yeah, and around here they got the Starburst factory, and I love smelling that. Certain
roasted
days,
coffee, yes.
you can smell it, and I love it. I just don't drink it. It's not that I hate it. I just don't.
Is it because did you try like milk and sugar to kind of?
I have, and I don't mind it, but for some reason I'm kind of like you. It doesn't really agree with me much. I don't feel that good after I drink it. So I guess there are some people like that.
And when you consider the links I used to go to back in the day over coffee, I now drink. A lot of people can't believe it, but I drink decaf instant.
Really?
I do. I mean, it gives me what I like about coffee without the things I don't like about it.
Wow.
So and you know what I also do? You will find this very typical of me.
Right.
I buy generally two kinds and then I mix them together.
Yeah, I can almost not believe that. I mean, I just...
It is International Coffee Day.
There it is.
And then
Go ahead.
It's
as if that weren't enough.
National Mocha Day. So that's coffee and chocolate, I believe.
Yeah, and I can take that. I mean, mocha's okay. It's not a big favorite, but it's all right.
And then if you're going to have coffee or hot beverage, there's a few things better than National Biscotti Day.
Yeah.
So it's a twice-baked, the bipart is the twice-baked cookie, Italian cookie, and you can dip it into your coffee or your espresso. Although I think dipping in espresso is probably a no-no.
I was in the Central Market the other day, and there's a place up there called Barrie Orchards. And I got to tell you, they have biscotti up there that they do that is off the charts. It is really, really good. And I don't eat biscotti that often. In fact, I'm trying to cut back on all my sugars and carbs and stuff. But I got to tell you, man, that stuff is it's like a little manna from heaven. And so biscotti, always good. Kind of an interesting texture, I think, but
it's a hard cookie.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Generally a hard cookie.
Well said.
It is VFW Day.
Yep. Thank you to all our veterans of foreign wars, and again, thank a veteran wherever you are today for all they've done to, keep our nation safe and stand up for our nation. They are the heroes who walk among us.
World Heart Day.
Is that just taking care of your heart kind of thing? Or?
I would imagine. I mean, I didn't look it up, but it seems self-explanatory.
Because World Heart Day could also be seen as Valentine's Day, depending upon.
Yeah, no,
but
I don't think
that's not it. We know that's not the case.
Yes.
No.
It's Broadway Musicals Day.
That'll be enough.
And it is.
Go ahead.
Confucius Day.
Confucius say?
Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it.
And not everyone is beautiful.
They must often change who would be constant in happiness or wisdom.
Very nice.
With the superior man seeks is in himself.
When you're up to your butt in alligators, you don't stop to smell the swamp.
What the small
I don't think Confucius said that one.
Yeah, no.
I think that was Billy Lee or something like that.
One more.
Yeah.
If you have the intention to renew yourself, do it every day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or if there's an outhouse nearby, take care of it there.
How about some funny ones? You want some funny ones?
I don't know. I have a feeling I'm going to get it whether I want it or not. But go ahead.
No,
that's fine. That was very nice of you to ask.
I haven't found it yet.
Oh, okay.
All right, here's one. Confucius say, no, I better not do that one. No, I can't do that one.
No. Family show.
Yeah, I think. All right. Well, we just skip that.
There it is. So we'll just if you. No, I don't want any funny ones.
No funny ones. Right. Thank you.
Wow.
Anyway.
So tell me about the Ryder Cup. You were at the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, our tickets were for just, the Ryder Cup is a 3-day tournament. It's not a typical 4-day.
Right.
So the tournament was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Those tickets were outrageously expensive. So we went with another couple.
Three figures or four figures?
I don't even want to know.
You hesitate
I don't want to know.
Okay.
I know how much the practice round tickets were, and that was unbelievable.
Put it this way, would they had to take the money out of your hands with the jaws of life?
Oh, easily.
Yeah, okay.
And so we were going to go to the last day of the practice round Thursday, and because the weather was predicted for Thursday to be so bad, they actually late on Tuesday they said people can come in on Wednesday, and we're going to move the opening ceremony from Thursday to Wednesday afternoon. So we did leave a little bit early, and we were able to make it there for the opening ceremony, which wasn't any big deal. It's just introducing these people and playing videos, and I don't know, it was no big deal.
All right.
It was interesting though to walk around, the setup that they have there. Lots of drinking, lots of merchandise. The course is very old, and it's very hilly too. But we couldn't get really close to it. And I can compare this to the Ladies Open at the Lancaster Country Club, which I was there for some of that. There, I'm standing next to Lexi Thompson. I'm standing next to the players. This place, no. You can't. Very hard to get to, and it was practice rounds, so they would come out and just hit balls, and you could see how far they could hit it, obviously, and that was kind of crazy in and of itself, because the practice area, I think, was actually a hole. So it was at least 300 yards. They were hitting it to the green of that hole. But the Europeans came out in waves and practiced quite a bit, and then they went out on the course and played a few holes. The Americans, not everybody came out. And they came out like in dribs and drabs, and not everybody played any of the holes on the practice day. But I should say, while the weather was predicted to be bad, and it was not great, it wasn't as bad as they thought it was going to be.
So showers.
Yes, we had off on it. It was misty, not the greatest for golf, but it was okay. Would I do it again? No.
No, I don't go at all anymore. I used to go to some of these tournaments. I went to the President's Cup and that kind of stuff, and it was nice once.
Yeah.
Plus, it was free.
Right.
It was free.
Oh, well, mine wasn't free.
Mine was VIP tickets free. Because some guy that was a friend of Chief Justice Roberts was a guest on my show one day, came to our studio and had a driver standing outside next to a limo.
Wow.
And the guy said, "You want to have tickets?" I said, "Well, sure." He said, "Well, you drive down to Washington, come to my law firm, we'll get them." And we did, and we got these tickets, and it was pretty cool.
Yes, anyway. And the atmosphere is just it's not like watching it on TV.
No.
And it's even more personal. And then, one of the things we can talk about is just how
that's why I want to talk about coming back
and that kind of thing.
Yeah, the ugly American kind of thing. It was not. It wasn't a shining weekend for some of our fans. I dare say probably most fans were doing what they should be doing here again. But it only takes one bad apple to spoil the whole bunch, girl. Give me another chance. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's on the good list.
Yes, we'll take a break. We'll come back with that. A lot of stuff on the table here this morning on the Gary Sutton Show. And by the way, you can text us any questions, any thoughts you have with the stuff that went on over the weekend. 833-478-4729. Haven't come up with a question yet. Need to come up with a question. We'll do that here in a moment and put it up at the Gary Sutton Show on Facebook right after this. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Pitch, he swings, drives one, deep to right field. Gonzalez back, it is gone! Elvis Peralta! Elvis has left the building! Out toward the cannon, and the Revs have doubled their lead here in the 6th inning. It's 2-0. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss, he struck him out! To the Revs, it's a 2-0 final score. And Chris Valamont has pitched a one-hitter here to start off this championship series.
That was Saturday night, but on Sunday,
swinging a line drive down the line in left field. It's a fair ball. It's a base hit. Martin around second, on his way to third. It gets away. He's coming around third. Relay to the plate. He dives. He's in. Did he touch the plate? Yes, he did. He was slow to get up. Tag applied just in case. Safe is the call. And Caleb McNeely has given the Revs the lead. RBI double down the left field line. It's 3-2 here in the 5th.
Yeah, and so on Saturday night, Chris Valamont fired a one-hitter, 15 strikeouts, pitched the whole game. In fact, they came out in the 8th inning to maybe take him out, and Valamont was right there, kind of like you could just see, no, you're not going to take me out. I'm finishing this thing off. And he did. You know how I feel about giving momentum back to somebody when you've got them down. Well, he pitched a one-hitter. They had some guy to double, and that was it. And then yesterday, we were here at the game, and it was going back and forth pretty well. The Revs were actually leading by one for a while after being down 2-0. But then, I forget what inning, I think it was the 5th inning. They went off, did High Point, and 9-3. They had a 4-run inning. That was that. Went out 9-3. And then the power went off. Power just snapped off like it did last week here on our show. And so I ended up leaving because I didn't want to stay there all night. And I had to come in here for this morning. But 9-3 is where it ended up. Today they will travel back to High Point. And then tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will be the 3 games in High Point. So the Revs have to win 2 of 3 now on the road to win their 2nd straight championship and their 5th overall. In fact, they've been in the championship now 5 times. You know what their record is in the previous 4?
No.
4-0.
Wow.
Have never lost a championship. High Point has never won a championship yet. They got beat by Lancaster, I think, in 2022. Of course, the Revs are defending champions. So the Revs also have been the best team on the road this year in the Atlantic League.
Do you think what's his name? Valamont?
Valamont.
Do you think he would pitch like the last game 5 if they needed it?
I do. I think they probably are holding him out for that, and in the rotation of how they're running, I think that's probably where Rick Forney would put him. But again, I'm not managing the team.
Right.
But one would think, coming off that kind of success, he might be able to do that again. So we'll see what happens. You were up at the Ryder Cup, and one of the things that really troubled me over the weekend, and actually I ended up rooting on Saturday for Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry, and the reason was they actually have video now of people practicing doing FU cheers together for Roy. I don't know what happened here.
I know.
But multiple spectators were removed from the event. And
ejected because of their behavior.
Yeah, Luke Donald accused the crowd of crossing the line, which they did. So where is crossing the line? That's the question I just put up this morning on Facebook about what are the limits of being a fan. But Rory McIlroy was taking some heat. He actually stood back and would not take a shot to one hole because of what they were screaming. New footage has emerged of the throng practicing their classless FU Rory chant earlier in the day. Who thinks that's okay? A rendition of that was led by the MC on the first tee, and McIlroy blew kisses back at them. His wife, Erica Stoll, was also dragged into verbal mudslings as the crowd branded her a whore. Are you kidding me? Not only that, but McIlroy was also accused of playing like a wet fart and of being a choker. And it all got so much for the 36-year-old at one point earlier the day before his refusal to play. He snapped back and told spectators to shut the blank up during his foursomes victory alongside Tommy Fleetwood. He had been interrupted during his swing on the 16th, but he responded in the perfect fashion by firing an excellent shot to the green for Fleetwood to finish the job with a putt. But man, I'll tell you what, throughout the day you saw the security ramped up. There were a bunch of police that were brought out there, and there were in the case of a couple other players as well. So, I don't know where fans think they get off. They paid a price for their ticket, and then they get in. I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking about fans in general that think they get away with this stuff, and it's just part of the incivility that we see right now, I think, around our country and sports particularly at large.
You know what surprises me the most about this
Go ahead.
is now, and I've never been to, well, the only other tournament I went to was the U.S. Women's Open at Lancaster Country Club last year. And, this isn't like a hockey game, okay?
No, this is golf.
Right. And this is high-end golf. So, there's a lot of money floating around everywhere, and people dressed very nicely. And so this would be
a little bit more decorum.
Yes, you would think that, and especially the Ryder Cup, where you've got, international aspect to it. And I thought, well, you would have better. The fans would act better, but they acted worse.
Well, McElroy was asked about the crowd's hostility, and he said, on Saturday, I thought he was a complete gentleman after the round. You could tell he didn't say all that he wanted to say. But he said, I don't mind them having to go at us. That's to be expected. That's what the way Ryder Cup is. Whenever they are still doing it while you are over the ball and trying to hit your shot, that's a tough thing. And that's exactly what you're talking about, that you don't do that, much like you do it maybe in football or even baseball.
Yeah, right.
In between shots, say whatever you want to me. That's totally fine. But just give us the respect to let us hit shots and give us the same chance that the Americans have. You don't have to focus on the task at hand. I think in the team format, foursomes and four balls, you can stick together with your partner, which makes it easier, he said. Donald added, it was loud. It was raucous. And yet, for 2 days, they kicked the Americans all over the place. And maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe get a little bit of a chip on the shoulder.
Focus them a little bit more.
Yep. But Luke Donald, who's the captain, said, what I consider cross the line is personal insults and making sounds when they are trying to hit on their backswings or very close to when they're trying to hit in their routines. That did happen a little bit. So, again, very understated, Luke Donald.
I wonder what they could possibly do because, they did kick people out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Short of, the expectations were that the people would be fair about this.
Yeah.
And
what
do you do?
Yeah. The biggest story yesterday,
cattle prod.
Thomas Jacob Sanford, the Michigan shooting church suspect. I don't know if you saw this. Hundreds of people were attending the service at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, which is a suburb of Flint, Michigan, when authorities said the suspect, this guy, drove his vehicle into the church at 10:25 a.m. The suspect,
I think it was a pickup.
Yeah. He then exited the vehicle and fired several rounds at people inside the church with an assault rifle. Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renier said on Sunday, Sanford used gasoline as an accelerant to light the church on fire. Sanford died after exchanging gunfire with responding officers in the church's parking lot. Where have we heard this script before? This is even worse than what normal happens.
Still no word on a motive?
No. They don't know. They have not identified a motive for the shooting. We can't come to those kinds of conclusions just yet, said Lieutenant Kim Vetter of the Michigan State Police. The FBI leading the investigation, and they think they're still going to find more victims inside the church there, which
do they?
Burned to the ground.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it was it 4 to 8 so far?
The last, no, I hadn't heard the last number.
Yeah. So it's incredible. And we don't go by a week anymore without this kind of stuff happening, and you go, I think we keep looking, Mark, for a common strand. I'm not sure a common strand is to be found, but we'll examine this story and many more this morning here on the Gary Sutton Show. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll have more news for you right after this. This is the Gary Sutton Show. Mark McKenzie with you here on a Monday morning here on WOYK at 6:30. always liked this song. Yeah, believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
Here's a more complete.
So free, flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Here's no one. Believe it or not, it's just me. It's just me and Mark. Gary and Mark here on a Monday morning.
So that's Joey Scarberry.
Yeah.
And it is Greatest American Hero, the theme from the TV show of the same name. But the reason I'm playing it is because the guy who wrote it, and it wasn't Scarberry, the guy who wrote that song and the theme to many other TV shows is 81 years old today. His name is Mike Post.
Yes.
And if that name doesn't sound familiar, his TV show themes will, if you watch TV at all in the 70s and 80s and 90s. And we're going to play, that's our bumper music today, is going to be TV show themes that Mike Post wrote. So stick around for that.
Well, we were talking about wounds, and one of the good stories this weekend, the unidentified Northern York County Regional Police detective who was wounded in the deadly ambush in North Cadorus Township almost 2 weeks ago now, has been released from York Hospital, according to a WellSpan spokesperson on Friday. The officer was able to attend the funeral on Thursday for 3 of his fellow detectives killed in the line of duty. Of course, Detective Sergeant Cody Becker, Detective Mark Baker, and Detective Isaiah Emmenheiser. It was made possible with the support of medical staff. Lieutenant David Godfrey of the York County Sheriff's Office, who was also wounded in the shooting, remains in satisfactory condition at the hospital at the present moment. So, and the Pennsylvania State Police continue to investigate the deadly shooting. So that's good news that the officer, who's still is unnamed, and maybe will stay that way at the request maybe of him or the police unit, but he's out. That's good. Drew Aller, boy, how'd you like to be him? Good grief.
Is it his fault, or is it the plays that were called?
Well, the comeback, I mean, you talk about showing some courage. The comeback that he led, they were down by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to Oregon the other night in the whiteout.
That's true.
And he came with his feet, with his arm, everything, roaring back. You could see he wanted to win. Gets the lead touchdown in overtime. Then Oregon ties them up. Then Oregon gets the ball. They score a touchdown. Now here comes Penn State. And then Oregon misses the 2-point conversion, which you have to try on the second overtime. And now you think, okay, well, Penn State can score and they can convert the 2-point conversion. They could have one of the great comebacks here. And, of course, the very first play, he throws an interception. And he's done that last year to end their bid for a national championship against Notre Dame. You remember he threw at the end of the game, and Notre Dame won on a field goal. And so, I really found myself, I put a little prayer down for him that night because I thought, that's got to be tough. It's still a kid. I don't care. He's 21, 22 years old. And the heat of everybody's on him. You had people during that game screaming, "Fire Franklin," down in the end of the end zone.
Well, the expectations,
they're so
especially
high.
After what Oregon did to Penn State last year. So, everybody, it's payback time.
Beating them by 8. Now you got them at home. Now you got them before a whiteout audience.
Yes.
You got 111,015 people in the stands. Thanks for those 16 people that didn't let us get the record. But I'm kidding. But anyway, so the place is just rocking, and you think this is the perfect atmosphere. There's no way.
That's right.
And this team was so well prepared for them with the way that they did their signals and everything. They had a whole system up. I mean, and they were good. They're really a good team. They're now ranked number 3 in the country. Penn State has dropped to number 7, by the way. But where does Penn State football go next? And the only thing you can really point to is you got to win the next game for starters. But Ohio State looms down there yet, and that's the other big game of the year. And if you lose any other games, just forget it. But
how could they beat an Ohio State?
And here's the question. Maybe, and I know people look at coaching and they look at the players and all this. Are the expectations too high? I don't know. But last year, of course, they made it to, the semifinal round of the national championships. And everybody, now they bring back two running backs that are supposed to be 2 of the best in the country. They bring back a quarterback who has thrown 57 touchdowns at Penn State. They bring back some pretty good players. And yet, they can't quite reach the lofty expectations you see, for example, with Ohio State every year. And Ohio State is kind of, I think, the bar by which everything is judged.
Well, I mean, is it in all the preseason polls? I think they were
2.
Yeah, 2 or 3, or like maybe
1 in some cases.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Yeah. And so here again, and they looked unprepared the other night when they started. They didn't look like they were ready.
I couldn't believe that when the score was only 3.
I know.
And like with those running backs and that offensive line, how is that possible?
Yep. And so then they got down, by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and then they led this incredible charge coming back. And then to lose that way, it was kind of tough. You know, you'd say, well, if they lost, how about losing 4th down and whatever, and we can't quite, score the touchdown or whatever? That's one thing. But to give it up then on the very first play when you go into the second overtime on another interception, those interceptions have dogged them a lot. So I think he had an interception last year in the game with Oregon when they were coming down the field, and they ended up losing 38-30. And then, of course, against Notre Dame, he had another interception there that he threw it away inexplicably when he should have just eaten it and gone to overtime. And now this one the other night. And again, I feel for the guy. I mean, I really do, because the heat that he must be feeling right now.
Right.
And, of course, before the game, everybody was talking. All the analysts were saying, they're 4-20 against ranked teams.
Yes.
and so they set the whole scenario. Yes. So you got that pressure. So the monkey is still gripped to the back of James Franklin, and unfortunately, Drew Aller gets a lot of he just signed another big deal the other day, another NIL deal before the game too, and for I think it's a credit card or something like that.
Well, the meme that I saw was a picture of Bo Prabula say, "You miss me yet?"
Well, I was just going to say, and that's the other problem that Aller has. There's Bo Prabula at Missouri, where I believe they're still undefeated and playing very, very well. And so you say, okay. Anyway, but that was Penn State getting beat by Oregon. They play UCLA next, who hasn't won a game, but we'll see.
So you're not defending Aller, but you're basically saying, that the fans are probably going to be rough on him, and he is just a young guy. But, even when you're a European golfer and you're hardened, you're not immune to, fans being hateful in some cases.
Well,
and one of the things I mentioned to you off air, it was my experience when I was at the Ryder Cup last week that it was my observation that there were more places to drink liquor than to eat.
Well, when you look at like Penn State, the second largest stadium in the country, the game is only part of the whole weekend. I mean, the tailgating that takes place, the drinking that takes place, all that kind of stuff, that's all become part and parcel to the American experience on a weekend, much like it did with the Ryder Cup where you were at.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, you're going to go back and say, well, we're not going to sell booze anymore. Right. Yeah. How's that going to work out?
It's going to, they'll be putting liquor allowed. They'll have special devices where you can put liquor in golf balls and, drink it that way.
We'll have liquor-free zones.
Yes.
Sure you will, yeah. But beer-free zone, yeah, okay, fine. Talk to me later. I'm not a person that's going to a game to get liquored up to enjoy the game. In fact, I'm just the opposite.
I never understood that.
I didn't either.
I remember going to Ravens games at the old Memorial Stadium, if you can believe it. And back then, they were charging $7 for. Think about
you had to take your deed to your house along with you to buy a beer.
It was and people were getting drunk, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I mean, it's expensive,
but it is part of this whole thing, because then you lose your inhibitions, you cheer, you do stuff you normally wouldn't do, which in a lot of cases maybe you shouldn't drink if that's the case. But I'm just saying that So the other night they're screaming "Fire Franklin." They're I don't know what was said about Aller. But I remember last year when Aller threw the interception against Notre Dame, he got death threats. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, let's get a little grip. Let's get a little grip on things here. Again, and the other part about it too is, I blame some of the booze that's readily available that you talked about with the Ryder Cup and even with this, and then the other part about the whole thing is just what we tolerate at games now, what we tolerate when people come in. If someone is visibly drunk coming into a game, should you be able to come into a game? When you're visibly drunk anywhere else, that sometimes we escort them off to wherever. But I don't know. There's a lot of questions I have about, what constitutes fun. And then when you start to intrude again on the rights of other people to enjoy themselves and just cheer at the game and so forth, it's just, and then the lack of civility at games a lot of times is really a bothersome thing. Anyway, I saw something this morning. Eric Adams dropped out of the New York mayoral race, if anybody cares about that. He's the present mayor. He had been running for re-election as a third-party candidate, but he was running fourth in a number of recent public polls. This Mondani guy is now winning by 18 points in the mayoral race. And a lot of people are saying this guy is just off the charts, but he's beating Cuomo right now by 19 points, I think it is total. Actually, 44.4% to 25.4%, and nobody can figure out why. So it's, I don't know. We're gonna wait and see on that. Josh Shapiro's opponent, Stacey Garrity, and Josh Shapiro has not announced that he's going to run yet for sure, but Stacey Garrity, who's going to be the Republican candidate, got endorsed by the Republican Party a week ago, has stepped in to offer counties $500 million in loans as the PA budget remains at an impasse. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's within the confines of law. But now, if you're Stacey Garrity, you're the state treasurer, everything you do is going to be measured by political measurement as well as what you're doing in terms of policy. And so she stepped in on Wednesday to offer counties and early education programs $500 million in low-interest loans to hold them over until a final state budget deal is complete, sidestepping the General Assembly and Governor Josh Shapiro as they near the start of the third month in an impasse. Garrity, a Republican who last month announced her bid to challenge Shapiro in next year's gubernatorial election, announced the unprecedented move to allow the state treasury to offer the loans to county human service departments for the many social services they provide, as well as for early education Head Start programs at a 4.5% interest rate. So she bypassed the legislature, bypassed the governor, and offered these low-interest loans until the budget gets settled. So we'll see. Some counties have had to secure private loans to hold them over until state payments begin, while others, including those around the Philadelphia region, have relied on their reserves. Other counties have frozen hiring and spending as they await a resolution to the budget stalemate, which is 3 months old now. So we'll wait and see how that all goes.
How about it is Confucius Day, and Marty writes us, we were going to do some funny ones, but I decided not to because it was rather... Anyway, he writes, Confucius say he who breaks wind in church sits alone in the pew.
Marty's got a good sense of humor. I like that. That's a good one. Thank you, Marty. No, Marty, a very loyal listener and very loyal texter for us and does a great job. We appreciate that.
It's easy to get a hold of us like that.
It is. You could get a hold of us by 833-478-4729 if you have some Confucius things or comments on anything throughout the day. We love to hear your texts. 833-478-4729. Start to use that, will you, like Marty did. He's a good lead on that one.
I was going to say that today is National Coffee Day.
Brands are brewing up deals to celebrate National Coffee Day. Starbucks is offering rewards members 100 bonus stars when they order a hot or iced coffee any size through the day. Dunkin' is offering rewards members a free medium, hot, or iced coffee with any purchase in the Dunkin' app. The offer excludes cold brew and nitro beverages. Burger King Royal Perks members can get a free medium iced coffee with an online or in-app purchase of $1 or more today. And through Wednesday, Sheetz is paying tribute to Java's Big Day, offering folks free self-serve coffee with any purchase at all locations. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
And this, in the entertainment world, last night during Sunday Night Football, Bad Bunny was announced as the headliner for the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. But he might not have been the first choice. Taylor Swift, I know it's, by the way, she's going out with that guy from Kansas City.
All right already.
Yeah, I know, Travis Kelce. Anyway, Taylor Swift was allegedly in negotiations, but she turned it down because she didn't want to do it for free. An unnamed music executive says, quote, she wasn't asking for favors, she was asking for respect. Taylor knows her worth. She knows the kind of rating she brings, the global attention she commands. She wasn't about to hand that over for free. Super Bowl 60 goes down February 8th at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California, which is the home of the Niners. But, yeah, you know what? I kind of am on the side of Taylor Swift on this one.
Me too.
You know what? If someone else is going to make money and she's supposed to do it for free, I don't think so.
Especially in a big, high-profile game like that.
Yeah.
The NFL, I don't think, would ever give up.
No, and the NFL is pretty well known for making a lot of money. So guess what? The fact they asked her to do it for free, I think not.
I agree.
I totally agree with her on this one. Anyway, we'll take a break. We'll come back with more news and entertainment here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. It's the Main Street of York. Back right after this.
March along, sing a song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might. And the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won. And the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Well, the actual birthday of the Army is June 14th of 1775, but this is the 250th, so all year long we are celebrating the birthday of the United States Army and, of course, the birthday of our country and all that kind of thing. So it's, a lot of things going on there. But the Army, you think about the Army and what all it has done for our country over the years, Mark. It's certainly, and all the different ways we've advertised joining the Army. Remember the Army of One, and then we had
different yes.
Yeah, what's the one?
Be all that you can be.
Be all that you can be. That was part of Stripes and all that kind of thing. So the U.S. Army's 250th celebration.
Actually.
Yes, it was. So anyway, you have that going for you. Let's see what else we have here this morning. How many young adults are turning on subtitles when they watch TV?
I that is a thing.
It's a new poll.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're talking about younger adults are using subtitles more often.
Yeah.
Me. Like me. I do it now. I'll say to Debbie, what did they say?
Yes.
I went a little too fast.
Especially accents.
Yeah.
Like the English accents, like Downton Abbey. They speak so fast. I can't understand what they're saying.
Yeah, and I can't understand all that. So,
I agree.
Some people find them distracting, and family members in the same house can be in disagreement about them regarding tussles for the remote, I guess. But No tussles for the road in my house, thank you. I'll be controlling that. But this guy, according to the new survey, people under 45 are more likely to use the subtitles now than older adults. And the poll finds that about 4 in 10 adults under 45 use subtitles at least often when watching TV or movies, compared with about 3 in 10 adults older than 45. Those 60 and older are especially likely to say they never use subtitles. The poll suggests many young adults use subtitles because they are watching in noisy environments, whereas older adults choose them to better hear or understand what's being said. See that? Yes, thank you. That makes sense to David Barber, who's a sound editor, a mixer, and president of the Motion Picture Sound Editors. Part of it is cultural, Barber says. What the younger kids are doing is a lot of them will multitask.
That's it.
They'll listen to music while they're watching the show. They'll catch bits and pieces of this, bits and pieces of that. I think they probably are half listening and half watching. It's an interesting phenomenon.
Yes.
And, of course, subtitles help capture every word.
Here's the problem, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if, well, you don't go to movies much, but that's one thing. When Deb and I went to the Downton Abbey movie that was recently out, I think it might still be out, was the finale. So if you've invested time in the TV show and the other movies, here was the last one. So, and there were some quiet parts, and I couldn't quite hear exactly what they were saying, again, with the accent. And there was no subtitles.
No subtitle.
I was like, why wouldn't they turn them on for us?
I know. It was ridiculous. Anyway, by the way, if you could live in the happiest place on earth outside of Disney, where would you go? Where would you go? What country would you go to? And I have the answer for you.
Oh?
The 8th straight year, this country has been the happiest place on earth.
Sweden?
And you're close.
Norway?
Close.
What else is up there?
Finland.
Oh.
Finland. It's been topping the world happiness charts for the last 8 years. The latter could be considered a bigger accomplishment during such uncertain times, but the mystery of Finland's happiness eludes many, including the Finns themselves. The World Happiness Report is an annual report published by the University of Oxford in partnership with Gallup and the United Nations, so not inconsequential. People were going to the survey and trying to figure out what is wrong with the survey.
What's wrong with the survey?
Explained Frank Martella, a philosopher and professor. Martella, who this year published Stop Chasing Happiness, A Pessimist's Guide to a Good Life, believes the Finns were skeptical because of the way happiness is measured.
Okay.
And the report ranks a nation's happiness based on one question.
Oh.
This is weird.
Okay.
On a scale of 0 to 10, how close is your life to the best possible life? Now, which is a different question than, did you experience joy today or did you smile or laugh today, Martella said. Meaningful happiness, in the case of the Finns, really comes down to contentment, which begs the question, why are Finns so content? The kind of society we have has been able to take care of the citizens relatively well, Martella explained. Udi, Helsinki Central Library, is an example. The library defines itself as a live meeting place offering traditional library services, video gaming spaces, digital studio spaces, 3D printing services, and more, all free and accessible to the public. They got all that in their library accessible to the public. The idea is to make sure everybody has an opportunity to do this kind of thing, no matter how much money you yourself have. So that seems to be the secret, that you get access to this stuff no matter how rich you are, period. But the higher taxes that drive a socialistic society are worth it for the Finns. There's more of an idea of society here. I think people accept that if you pay taxes, then you're going to get something in return, explained Tim Bird, who immigrated to Finland from the UK more than 40 years ago. So there's happiness in Finland.
Yeah, in America, it's yelling profanities at European golfers.
Rory McIlroy, yeah. Exactly right. I guess that gives some people, the whole deal. But
how about a couple of odd facts to kind of shake your brain? Now, everybody knows about the Walk of Fame, right?
Yes.
In Hollywood.
Outside of that's just the Walk of Fame.
Just the
Grauman's is there, but that's not it.
It's up and down that street.
Right.
And, but here's the thing. They usually are alive when they hand these things out. But I didn't know this, but there are some fictional characters that have been awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. How many fictional characters do you think?
Wow. Fictional character.
Yeah, I thought it was a good question.
Maybe 10?
It's actually 20.
Okay.
And the most recent, I would have thought would have gotten it way before last year. Batman. Batman is the newest fictional character to get a Hollywood Walk of Fame. And who was the first?
The first. Mickey Mouse.
That's it. That's exactly right.
Okay.
But it was only in 1978. And Minnie got one too, but in 2018. So.
Well, she didn't do as much. I mean, it's.
And
after all, it's the man first, the woman second.
Oh,
no, we're kidding. We're kidding, ladies. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to meet with Angelique Lezia, an award-winning film producer and kindness ambassador, all here on the Gary Sutton Show. And then later on, we'll be checking in with Joe DeCree today on that guy who ran into the church and set it on fire and shot people. We'll do all that later on today. And we'll find out about a big thing having to do with literacy, all here in York County. All straight ahead on the Gary Sutton Show, where it is 7 o'clock.
York's only local show is back on its new home on York's only local station.
Guess who's back again?
This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
I'm back.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
And good morning and welcome to hour number 2 of the Gary Sutton Show here on a Monday morning, September the 29th, 2025. The Gary Sutton Show from Wellspan Park right here on Brooks Robinson Plaza. 60 degrees out today. It is the 29th of September, 2025. The last Monday of September, ladies and gentlemen.
Already.
A little melancholy about that. And getting ready, though, to head into October. Really getting into fall now. And, of course, our show here brought to you by Barley Snyder Attorneys at Law. You can find out more about them at barley.com. Innovative legal solutions for your business. They are a law firm for today's business world. Check them out at barley.com. Or you can also check them out right here in New York at 100 East Market Street. Open 9 to 5 weekdays. You can give them a call at 717-846-8888. A law firm for your business, and they want to help make it better. Yeah. And you can check them out again at barley.com. 29 different disciplines, 130 plus lawyers throughout the state of Pennsylvania and Maryland. So proud to have them as our presenting sponsor. And this hour of the Gary Sutton Show brought to you by the Bison Farm. It's a local family-owned farm in Mount Wolf. Tupper and Tessa Verdick are the young owners of that. I just saw Tupper on Saturday. I stopped down at the Bison Farm store. I got some sweet bison sticks, and I was eating one during the game the other night. I'll tell you, were they ever good. But Central Family Restaurant and Augie's joint both offer bison burgers from the product. And Tupper was telling me, hey, he said they both appreciated you calling them out in the air and saying about the bison burger. But I got to tell you, they have some of the best products you'd ever want to have. You can buy their products through their market stands at New Eastern Market. That's on Friday mornings. And Central Market on Saturday mornings. And chances are you'll meet Tupper right there. He's a great guy. They carry a full range of products from ground bison and burgers to those sweet sticks that I got on Saturday, to steaks and roasts, to, yes, the famous bison brisket that I love to make on my smoker. Check them out at thebisonfarm.com, and also find out how they have the healthy red meat by going to thebisonfarm.com/ybison. So there you have that here on a Monday morning. And we are so honored this morning to be joined by Angelique Letzia, who is a writer and filmmaker whose work blends emotional depth with cinematic vision. Now, I'm obviously reading that, but I'm going to find out from her what that's all about this morning. She has had award-winning screenplays to soul-stirring books. Her stories explore inner awakening, ancestral healing, and the quiet power of choosing a new path. She is also one of those people who is an ambassador for kindness worldwide. And she joins us this morning, Angelique Letzia, right here on the Gary Sutton Show. Angelique, an honor to have you on this morning. Good morning to you. And do we have Angelique there? There she is.
Yes, I'm here.
Good morning. Good morning, Angelique. Great to have you. It's a Monday morning. It takes us a long time to wake up, but it's great to have you in this morning. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. Every day is a good day.
Well, I'm trying to, if I sat down and I was reading all about you, and you are a person of many, many different cloaks, so to speak. But tell me a little bit about you and a little bit about how you got into this world of kindness and all about what you're doing right now.
Thank you. Well, kindness is a big one for me. As a child, I was bullied quite a bit. And I came from a really tough childhood, horrible, ugly divorce, narcissistic family. And so I feel like kindness is one of those things that I was deeply lacking. People were not very kind in my world. And sometimes you either become the dark side of that or you fight against it. And for me, it's always been about fighting against it. Seeing the humanity in another person and going for that and realizing that we get more with empathy and kindness than we do by being hateful and taking people down and being mean. And I just kind of, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And that's just been my entire life, as my adult life as I got through. Not to say that I didn't have my moments of being crazy,
Right.
or there were people that probably, I've hurt on my journey, because that's part of it. But I do believe that kindness is really the pathway to healing and unity. And if we can't see each other in that way, then it's going to be really difficult for us to come together.
Angelique, you're an award-winning film producer. You've worked with stars like Margot Kidder, many of the greats, an author, global influencer, thought leader, and not the least of which you're a wife, a mother, an all-around pretty good, pretty wonderful human being, according to Kevin Smith, who knows you a little bit.
Yeah.
You wear a lot of different hats. How do you balance all that in your life?
I believe, and I absolutely get behind this, is that whatever you put your mind to, you can 100% do. And if I decide, hey, I'm going to write a screenplay, I 100% commit to that. If I'm going to go do a film, I'm 100% committed to that. And I show up every single day for the things that I love, the people that I love, and the dreams that I want to bring into reality. And I think consistency and applied action is actually how I have been so successful at doing that.
I was reading about you a little bit, and I was reading about the call-cut method that you've used, which is kind of and it says a transformative process. Now, that's the words that are down there, but I want you to tell us a little bit about, what the call-cut method is about, and maybe how people could apply that to their situations.
Yeah, of course. So obviously in the directing world, whenever we're directing a scene and we don't like the way it's going, we call cut, right? And we redo it. And because life is similar to a movie, all of these thoughts that we have, negative thoughts, I'm not good enough, this is never going to happen for me, etc. When we call cut and we stop ourselves mid-narrative, we stop those negative feedback loops. And part of the reason a lot of people feel stuck in their life is because they're actually stuck in these old stories. And they don't realize that those stories are continuously playing out. And so when we call cut, and we can do it anywhere, if you're somebody who angers easily, call cut on that. If you have to respond to somebody, right?
Right.
You can stop yourself midway. And what happens as humans is, we have 17 seconds before we shift into a different frequency. So you wake up in the morning and you're having a great day, and all of a sudden you go to a coffee shop and that person says something to you online, and, you suddenly feel like, call cut, right? Stop yourself. Don't react. It's happened to me a million times. People bump into you, or people have some snide comment that they can't help but say. And the impulse for a lot of people is to engage in these negative sort of diatribes with people instead of just stopping yourself and saying, you know what? No, not today, sir. Not today, madam. You're not going to lower my energy. I'm going to think about that beautiful chai latte on the other end of the barista thing, and I'm going to completely forget that you're here. But what the call cut method does is it starts to give you a peek into where your storylines are. Why do you react?
One of the things that you wrote there, and it was a great line. I read this and it really resonated with me. With one conscious choice, you stop playing the role you've outgrown and start writing a new one from a place of sovereignty, alignment, and truth. The idea of sovereignty, the idea that you have control over what you can do at that moment, the alignment, getting in the right kind of alignment here with what's going on, and truth is really big. And so many people could do well nowadays, saying cut. Let's not act like that in this moment. I find as I get older now that a lot of the hills that I used to charge up and want to plant flags on top of look kind of useless anymore, and I go around them now. They look a little steep to me. And so I decided not to say dodge, but say, that's not, is that really something that's important? Is that really something that is part of the truth of what I'm trying to find out? Or is it just another one of those little petty things that can kind of chip away at you and chip away at what you're really all about?
Yes. See, that's a brilliant reflection, because that's it. A lot of people don't reflect, they project. When you look at your life through the rearview mirror, you do exactly what you're doing. Do I really want to die on this hill?
Yeah.
Or can I get past it? Is this really in alignment with who I am now? If my kids were watching this, or if my kids came across this, is this how I want to be seen in the world? I think if people really thought about it, and I mean really, and I'm not talking about people who benefit or profit off of hateful rhetoric, right? Because that's a whole other thing.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about the everyday person that is out there in the world trying to be a good person, trying to figure out why am I here? What is it all for? And how do I leave a lasting legacy that, uplifts people instead of tears people down? That is really, I do think, that's really where the call cut method comes in. But I do think that age does play a part in that, because when we're younger, we think we're smart. But when we're younger, we haven't really married intellect and intuition, which I believe is what wisdom ultimately ends up being. Is your gut tells you, shush, you don't need to talk.
Well, and somebody asked me one time about what is the biggest thing that a radio talk show host should do. I said, listen. That's the biggest thing you should do is listen. You learn a lot more, and then you're able to synthesize the conversation into another level, which I think is the important part of conversation in this world that we're missing right now, that we really need to listen and then say, and also have respect for other people. And one of the things that I read about you, you said at the heart of all of your work, no matter what it is one guiding truth. No matter the darkness, we must keep shining. Your mission is to help others remember their light and live like it matters. Talk about that. That's such a brilliant statement.
Thank you. Yes, because, and this may be a little esoteric, woo-woo, but we are all divine sparks. That's how we start. Everything that we've learned from the time we are born is a narrative, and that narrative either brings us further into the darkness or it takes us into the light, and a lot of it is choice, but we don't know we have that choice, which goes back to being these sovereign beings that we inherently are. We're taught that, A is A, and B is B, and C is C.
Right.
We are also taught to be afraid of the dark, but we should not. The dark is actually what helps you to break into your light. Right? I always tell people who say to me, I've had a lot of heartbreak in my life, and I say, good.
Yeah.
When you break that heart open, the light in your heart can shine out. But it can't do that if you're afraid of the dark, if you're afraid to look at the shadow side and to face it. My son, he's afraid of the dark, right? Kids are afraid of the dark. And he's like, there's monsters chasing me. And I say, you know how you deal with monsters? You turn around and you face them.
There you go.
And when we shine our light and we realize that we are these luminous beings, the dark doesn't become so scary anymore. You realize that the dark is actually serving the light. Because if everything was light, we would not know the difference, right? The light cuts through the dark. And so getting people to a point where they understand that every choice you make is either shining your light brighter and remembering you are this beautiful being. Somebody might say otherwise to you, so you don't have to believe that story. That's their story.
There you go.
But it doesn't have, right? It doesn't have to be your story.
Right.
And that's...
Yeah, we're talking with Angelique Letizia. Is that the way you say your name, Letizia? I hope I'm saying that correctly.
Yes, you are. Actually, yes.
I think I left out an I a little bit earlier, and I apologize. But Angelique Letizia, can you stick with us for one more segment, Angelique?
Sure.
We're going to come right back, and I want to do one more segment with you here and talk a little bit more about some of the projects you have coming up and maybe how you and Kevin Smith cross paths and about kindness. We'll get into some of that when we come back with Angelique right after this on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK, where it is 7:17.
Fox Sports Update.
It's McManus to tie the game from 53 yards. Operation Clean. Kick is right down the middle. And we will go to overtime.
Sunday Night Football on NBC. The Packers and Cowboys combined to score 80 points. Neither team won. Brandon McManus kicked a 34-yard field goal as time expired in overtime. Green Bay and Dallas finished in a 40-40 tie.
I don't care about the stats. I don't care about the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows. I just care about the end result and the win. And so when you don't get that, right now it's tough for me. Guess 10 years in, the first tie I've been a part of, it's hard to kind of wrap my head around it because I know I'd feel a hell of a lot worse if it was a loss. It's a weird feeling.
Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott threw 3 touchdown passes, 31 of 40, 319 yards. Packers quarterback Jordan Love, 31 of 43, 337 yards and 3 TD passes. Neither quarterback intercepted. The score was 23-20 Dallas at the start of the fourth quarter. Game ended 40-40. Final day of the baseball regular season, the Reds and the Mets both lost. Cincinnati claimed the final National League wild card. The Blue Jays and the Yankees both won and finished with identical records. Toronto won the AL East, the Yankees a wild card. The Guardians won, the Tigers lost. Cleveland completed its unthinkable comeback from 10.5 games out of first place at the start of September to win the American League Central. Playoffs start tomorrow. Tigers at the Guardians, Padres at the Cubs, Red Sox at the Yankees, Reds at the Dodgers. Best of 3-game series. WNBA Phoenix Mercury advanced to the WNBA Finals with an 86-81 win over the Minnesota Lynx in Game 4. The Mercury will face either the Las Vegas Aces or Indiana Fever for the title. The Fever won Sunday 90-83 to force a deciding Game 5 tomorrow in Vegas. Golf, Europe defeated the United States at the Ryder Cup 15-13. It's Game On with the Fox Sports app, available wherever you download apps. I'm Jared Max.
Get more on the Fox Sports app and foxsports.com.
And welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK, the Main Street of York. We're with Angelique Letizia this morning, a writer and filmmaker, and also Kindness Worldwide ambassador. And Angelique, wanted to talk to you a little bit this morning about how you and Kevin Smith of kindnessworldwide.org kind of crossed paths at some point in time.
So I have a LinkedIn following of wonderful folks who follow my writing on LinkedIn, and Kevin was one of them. And he would come and he would post on some of my posts, and he would post these lovely comments. And I thought, this guy is very interesting. One day he sends me a message and asks me if he could have a conversation with me about Kindness Worldwide. We end up having this conversation, and I thought, look at this, in a world of people that are me, here's a guy that's we. And that really got my eye because he has this unbelievably compassionate heart. He really is somebody who's squarely in your corner. I meet a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people who profess, to be a certain way, but Kevin actually is. You know what I mean by that, right?
I do. Yeah, he's a good friend. And the thing that is interesting about kindness as he projects it, he said, I wasn't a bad person before the thing that happened to me kind of set me off on this path to try to push kindness around the world. He said, but what happened was that I realized there are things I can do instead of, oh, woe's me. Instead of looking back on, oh, the world is this terrible place, instead saying, these are the things that I can do, that I can control, and that I can get the small sparks going that eventually maybe go into a bonfire of kindness around the world. Maybe a poor choice of words there, but the best I could do for the moment, Angelique.
That's a good choice of words, because it is that way. That's the energy, right? You have to light that passion, and passion is always kind of synonymous with fire, and that's exactly what he's doing. And I feel personally that God chose the right person. There has to be a certain specific personality, because these kinds of things aren't easy. And anytime we go after trying to bring good into the world, you are met with an equal and opposite force that is pushing back against that. And so for Kevin to really pick up a sword and go after this in the way he has takes a lot of guts and a lot of determination and a lot of absolute faith and belief in the power of kindness and the power of what he's bringing to the world.
Well, I think a lot of people also, Angelique, think that, oh, this is kind of like a fool's errand. I'm not suggesting I think that, but I'm saying there are people that I've heard say, wait, kindness, come on, what are you talking about? We're all kind. Yeah. there are a lot of people who are very kind, and yet we see with our political conversations in our country and with some of the things that are happening, there's a tendency to think, we heard about a shooting last night again and running into a church yesterday and setting it on fire and shooting people. And it seems like there's not a week that goes by that we don't hear about these individual horrible things. The shooting of Charlie Kirk the other week, shooting in a school a week ago, right here in our own area, 3 policemen gunned down in a shootout as they're trying to serve a warrant. And we hear about those things. We tend to project those out to everyone. It's not everyone, and yet at the same time, somewhere there is a spark that is on fire that allows people to kind of think like that. And so I think the idea of going about and saying, okay, how do we find the light amidst the darkness? You talk about a lot about the light. That's really an important point, isn't it?
It's 100%, because we can either get sucked into this narrative, and friends, this is a narrative, okay? We are fed what we are expected to see, if that makes sense. And to your point, there's a lot of good in this world. There are a lot of kind people. There are people in this world that do not identify with this level of negativity. However, this is the world we're in right now. This is the information that's out there. And we are in a predominantly negative consciousness, which is what, means that every time you flip your phone on, and let's face it, our phones are attached to our hip, right? All you're seeing is, it's gloom and doom, it's violence, it's hateful rhetoric, it's us versus them. And that is why, in my opinion, Kevin's mission is so important, so that we can start to shift the narrative. Because the narrative gets shifted when people's consciousness shifts.
Well, and I think it goes back to a word that you used earlier, too, the idea of the sovereignty of taking the bull by the proverbial kindness horns and doing something about it and saying, these are the things I can control. These are the things I can do. This is how I can act towards somebody today. I have a choice to be negative or positive. These are the things that I can do. So I think that's so important to understand that we're at the controls right here on those kind of things, although I'm a great believer that I'm in control of nothing and God's in control of everything. But I'm saying as far as within our conscious boundaries here, that we're in control of being kind.
100%. And to your point about God and whatever people believe in, that is a co-creation, right? That's a collaboration. Yes. So how you think is super important as to what you are going to create, what your reality is going to reflect back. And while there is a grand divine plan, how you participate in that plan, that determines everything, right? So that goes back to choice. You get to choose. Am I going to show up in this way, or am I going to show up in this way? Can I change the narrative? I do these random acts of kindness, and I think I scare the hell out of people, honestly. But I will go down, and I scare my mom, and she'll be walking next to me. She's like, oh, God, you can't do that. But when you just compliment somebody randomly, It's amazing to see how that energy shifts. Well, and it's something it's small.
Yeah. I had a guy last night at a baseball game we were doing here, and I was just talking to him, and his name was Fred. I'd never met Fred before. Last night was our last home game of the season, and Fred is coming out this morning to meet the bus to go down to North Carolina to play the next playoff game. He cares that much. And I think, just talking to Fred and learning his name, sometimes just if you learn someone's name in a moment, that's a random act of kindness. Angelique, it has been an honor to talk to you this morning. I really appreciate you joining us. I hope we can do it again sometime soon. And I want to find out more about some of the projects you have coming up, because we didn't get a chance to really spend time on those this morning. But looking forward to doing it again. Thank you for taking time to be with us today, and continue good luck in all that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Gary. It was a pleasure. Angelique
Letizia with us this morning here on the Gary Sutton Show, talking about kindness. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Eric Menzer, speaking about a guy who is busy. He's all over the place right now. We're going to talk to him next here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK, where it is 7:30. This hour, by the way, being brought to you by the Bison Farm. That's exactly right. The Bison Farm located right here in Mount Wolf, and you can taste bison. You say, Gary, is that really good? Oh, my goodness. Some of the richest meat you're ever going to have in your life. Local family-owned farm in Mount Wolf, Central Family Restaurant and Augie's Joint both feature the bison burgers. If you want to try them out today, that's an easy way of doing it. Or you can buy their products through the market stands at New Eastern Market and Central Market. They carry a full range of products from ground beef and burgers to steaks and roasts. And yes, my favorite, the bison brisket. Although I just got these sweet sticks the other day that are pretty good too. TheBisonFarm.com. And if you want to check out the healthiness of this kind of red meat, check thebisonfarm.com/whybison. Back with Eric Benzer right after this on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK, where it is 7:30. You got to be kidding me. I think this is Magnum PI, but I'm not sure.
Yes, it is. It is. We're bumper music today. Just happened to, this shows you how much prep time is put into this show. I noticed that it was Mike Post's birthday today.
Yeah.
He's 81 years old, and he's written probably a dozen TV show themes. So we had Greatest American Hero last hour.
Wow.
Now we've got Magnum PI. We've got a few more before this thing is over with this morning.
Well, I'm learning a lot about him that I didn't know, and this is very instructive today about who's the guy that wrote all the stuff for the Olympics and everything else.
Yes, you're talking
Busted Pops guy.
Yes, you're talking about the one who did the entertainment show.
Yeah, so this is like that
him.
kind of guy. Yeah, he's writing all that stuff.
Well, here's the question, though. I mean, Mike Post, so he could write the music, but what about the words?
Well, you have to have somebody else write the words down.
Come on.
It's just the way it is.
No?
No.
Magnum P.I.
You may stop.
Magnum P.I.
Please.
No?
For the love of all that's holy, stop. Okay, anyway, welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show, 7:36 here on a Monday morning. We're out here at Brooks Robinson Plaza at Wellspan Park, which is where our next guest has spent a good part of his life here over the last bunch of years. And I don't know what to call him. I asked him, what do we call you now? He's like the vice chairman now of the York Revolution, but, we call him SHA. Still hanging around. Eric Menzer, he's here this morning. He's got his hands in so many different things that are going on, but he loves York. And Eric, great to have you back. It's been a while.
Thanks. It has been a while. Thanks for having me.
And it had nothing to do with anything, by the way. It just was, the way things are. You've been traveling. We've been doing the show and the whole thing. But Revs ending the home season last night. Not exactly the way we wanted to end, but, the power went out last night.
Yeah, we had a lot of weird things going on yesterday. Our bullpen, which has been our strength the last 6 weeks, was not in its best form last night. And so we did end up losing the game. We're now tied 1-1 with High Point as the series shifts to North Carolina. But yes, actually a rather large power failure. I'm sure some of your listeners lost power last night as well.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting last night. And the power failure on the part of the Revs, too, and maybe getting enough runs. But that was
That's right.
But I'll tell you what, the game the night before was a classic.
It was.
A one-hitter, 15 strikeouts. Valamont was unbelievable. Pitched the whole game against a team that when you looked at the lineup yesterday, this is like Murderer's Row on the Atlantic League level in terms of hitting. These guys can. These guys.
Well, and they showed it. And they showed it yesterday.
They did.
They scored 9 runs yesterday.
Very, very good. So, talk about what you're doing now. You're not president anymore, but you're still there all the time. You love being around the games. You still love being around. And I think you mentioned one time it's fun to sit down every now and then and actually watch some innings and be able to enjoy it, right?
Yeah, that's perhaps the best part of this season for me and my wife Kendall has been able to actually watch baseball without a radio in my ear and worrying about lost kids and cold French fries. That has been the best part of this year. I'll tell you, though, also, Gary, I've been thinking about this a lot. And again, we've talked about this before. Again, the last month or so, last 6 weeks, so much ugliness in the world, so much ugliness in our country, so much tragedy right here in our community. And there's been a series of games over the last month or so. We closed the season with a huge crowd on our last Saturday night. 9 or 10 high school cheerleading squads performing on the field, all their parents here. And then a fantastic crowd for our playoff game. The opening one against the Stormers, against the old school hometown rivalry kind of thing that you don't see that much anymore. And then this Saturday night, another excellent crowd with Chris and everybody chanting, "Let's go, Chris!" And it just struck me that yet again, a little old minor league baseball team in a little old town like York is a way for people to come and do something together, to cheer for their hometown team, to set their differences aside for 3 hours and watch a baseball game. And that to me is, I love watching baseball. Don't get me wrong. You know I love that. But what I really love more is being in that environment and knowing that we have a team of people, including you with Daryl on the air and here this morning, that are helping make that possible. That's the essence of what we do. And by the way, we play baseball.
And yeah, exactly. This has been one of the most joyous years I've ever had in broadcasting because I've really enjoyed being part of the whole atmosphere. I think Mark has too. We've had a great time and looking forward to doing it again, by the way. I'm not saying at the end, but just going out at nighttime. And we said so many times, I said, when you close those gates behind you at night, all of a sudden for 2 or 3 or 4 hours, you are away from all of the nastiness of the world. And yes, do you remember those things? Yes, do you commemorate people on the board and so forth? You do all that. But by the same token, it is something, and I think you hit it on the head, the experience and baseball being part of that whole experience. And how many people, I walk out in the concourse sometimes just to take a look at people.
Right.
And see people, neighbors saying hello to neighbors, some people making new friends. I made a friend with Fred last night, a guy, just to learn the name, because I had said hi to him. I said, I got to know this guy's name. And he said, I'm going to be out tomorrow morning. He said, to say goodbye to the bus going down to North Carolina. I thought, who does that? How you talk about kindness? And I said to Daryl last night, we were talking, I said, that's Fred's day right there. Yep. Fred is that's the high point of his day. And you think about what you guys do here, what you've been doing for 18 years. And that might be the biggest thing in someone's day, or it might be something in the day that makes it better from a day that was really lousy, and all of a sudden you're walking out the night with a positive feeling going home.
And to me that's the best part. That's why I'm still hanging around. I mean, again, I do love baseball, and it's been another great season. I mean, it's fun to be good. It's fun to win. Yeah. It's fun to know that we have put a product on the field now for our neighbors here in York that they can be proud of, and I think that they are proud of. And I know, very confident that will continue for the foreseeable future with Rick Forney as our manager, because he's done just an unbelievable job,
right?
Particularly this year with some injuries and contract sales, continuing to keep us strong on the field. So, we're going to see what's going to happen over the next few days down in High Point. They're a good team. I mean, you said it from a broadcast standpoint. These teams could not be more evenly matched.
Well, they were totally the same during the season. They were 3-3 in their series with each other. They were 74-52 during the season.
Yep.
So, and you know what? We hope we can win. But if we don't win, was it a successful season? Absolutely. And especially with all the holes that were plugged this year with injuries and everything else, it was incredible. I want to talk a little bit about what happens outside of the stadium and where we go now. We head into the fall season. In the old days, I used to say, what happens when baseball season's over? Well, you guys have proven there's a lot happening when baseball season's over, but there's also a lot of construction in the area here and some new projects going on. Tell people a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, the first thing I have to do is do a quick plug, Gary, for what happens now is the Halloween Parade.
Exactly.
The 75th annual York Halloween Parade, which the Revs are proud to produce for the community. So check that online. Check that out online if you haven't entered your entry yet. But yeah, you're right. Like when we walk out these doors, it's exciting to see this new apartment building going up across the street. We're going to have 140 apartments worth of new neighbors in the very near future when the Heritage Crossings project is complete over there. And that's really the last major undeveloped site in our downtown, and that's now starting to be developed. That's been a long time coming. And so personally, that's very exciting to see happening. And of course, this year, we're also celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Yorktown Hotel and the Appel Center. So new and old, new and classic, and it's kind of a neat combination to see.
As you look at ways to get more and more people to come to York, and people say, well, we had 3,000 people here yesterday. Someone said, that's not that big a crowd. I said, is there any place else in New York today that 3,000 people are gathering together that you know of?
Right.
I said every day the average attendance is 3,000 plus here at our stadium. I think that's a wonderful testament, especially when you look at some of the other places where things are not as well attended.
Right.
Here in New York, the Revs have become kind of part of our fabric. But more importantly, I think the idea is there's a whole lot of people who are trying to make York a much better place to come to, and we're finding more and more ways to do that. The First Fridays, the new places that are being built, some of the apartments that are being built down here. We already are an entertainment and a governmental center, but there's more to it than that.
Yeah, there is. You mentioned the work. One of the organizations I'm involved in is Downtown Inc. And for a lot of people, what makes a downtown is what they see with their eyes. And there are thousands of cars every day who drive through on George Street or Market Street through the square. And what they see of their downtown is what they see with their eyes. But the real fabric of a downtown is the activity and the people. And organizations like Downtown Inc. and so many others who are putting on events weekend after weekend after weekend. If you weren't here, you wouldn't necessarily know about them. You wouldn't see them happening. Small events, the restaurant-based events, but then larger things, like I mentioned, the Halloween Parade coming up. I mean, I plug that because I want to make sure we get good participation for this parade. But that parade will bring 30,000, 40,000 spectators downtown on a Sunday afternoon. And by the way, I think just as valuable is a Halloween parade in Dallastown or Red Lion or Hanover or anywhere else. I don't want to make it sound as if I think it's sort of downtown or nothing, because, I go out on my bike and I ride on the rail trail and I ride down to Hanover Junction.
Right.
And to me, one of the great things, my wife and I live downtown, one of the great things is in 10 minutes, I can be out in beautiful countryside on the rail trail enjoying the benefits of that. So, I was out Friday afternoon kayaking on the Susquehanna River, right? The fact that we have the river right here as an asset is wonderful. So to me, it's not downtown or nothing. It's downtown and. Where I have spent most of my time as a volunteer over the 35 plus years I've been here is working on projects downtown, including this one. But that is not by any fashion meant to exclude really the very rich, diverse, array of things we have to do and enjoy here in all of York.
We really do. And of course, here at the stadium, the next big thing is going to be coming up after the Halloween parade and sponsoring that and getting out there and getting people down here. It has to do with ice. It has to do with winter, right?
It does. It's Bright Nights back for a second year. Last year we said 3 million lights. Now it's 3 million lights and counting.
Wow.
Because we have invested again to grow the size of that holiday light display. It'll open on November 20th. We'll have to get some other of the Revs promo folks in here when that gets closer to talk about that and share all the details with people. But I am excited that we're bringing that back for a couple of reasons. First of all, it is our responsibility to use this community building for the community. And so this is a way to use it for another 6 weeks of the year to the benefit of the community. But also because it's just super cool.
Yeah.
It's a great thing it's multi-generational. It's a perfect event for grandparents, parents, and kids to come together, that everybody can enjoy together. So that event is back. We're going to be rolling out the details over the next couple weeks. And I should say, by the way, boy, I really blew it. It is presented by Traditions Bank this year.
Yeah.
Part of the reason that we're able to invest in the event and bring it back and grow it is thanks to the support of Traditions Bank. And I say it, obviously, it's important that we give credit to them where it is due from a commercial standpoint, but it's also important that we give credit to community-based businesses that make these things possible, because that is why we can do what we do.
And again, I hate to use that word investing. It gets overused by government a lot of times, but we're investing in downtown York. And I'm looking forward to my first year with the Bright Nights, and we're going to be pushed down hard. And I'm going to be down here a lot because I love lights. I'm a light freak. But Eric, great having you aboard this morning. No matter what role you play, you're always involved in York, and I know you have a lot of love for this town, the community around it, and out in the county as well. So thank you very much.
Thanks as always. Be well, guys.
And go Revs, right? Eric Menzer here this morning. Always a lot of energy, and he's heading off to his bike right now. I think head out the bike trail. You may see him out there somewhere this morning. We'll take a break. We'll come right back with more here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Rockford. At the tone, leave your name and message. I'll get back to you.
Jim, it's Shirley at the cleaners. You know that brown jacket? The one I said looked so great on you? Your favorite? We lost it.
Another of the detective shows. This is one of my favorites, by the way, Rockford Files. Jim, I always liked Jim Garner. He could be on anything. I remember him, first time I ever saw Jim Garner was Maverick.
Yeah.
And then after that, he was a movie guy, and the Rockford Files, though, a pretty cool show.
And Mike Post wrote the theme.
Here we go again.
And it was and matter of fact, Mike Post is one of those guys, a handful of guys, who wrote themes for TV shows that became top 40 hits.
Yeah.
This was a top 40 hit, as well as, I don't think Magnum P.I. was.
I don't think so either. But, hey, Jack Giambalvo, Family of Dealerships, wants me to let you know that with shorter days and upcoming fall roads ahead, working headlights, brake lights, and turn signals are essential for safety. Yeah, check them all out and make sure they're all working on your car. And that courtesy of Jack Giambalvo, Family of Dealerships. But I do want to tell you right now, if you're looking for your next ride, if you're looking for your next car, at Jack Giambalvo, they've got an idea for you. They got hundreds of pre-owned vehicles across 6 different locations right here in York County. That's right. From SUVs to trucks to sedans to domestics and imports, they've got a car that's going to fit you. And whatever you're looking for, they've got the make, they got the model to fit your lifestyle. When you buy used with Giambalvo, you're going to get free lifetime state safety inspections for your car and even other vehicles in your household. Plus, your first oil change is on them. Yeah, they'll take care of it for you. All the brands you want, hundreds of vehicles to choose from, backed by the community for over 50 years right here in York. When you talk about quality, when you talk about the gold standard for quality, you're talking about Giambalvo. And GiambalvoPreOwnedInventory.com is where you can go right now to shop online anytime. GiambalvoPreOwnedInventory.com. Find out about a car they've got for you. And one of the great things on that website is they got the car and they got where you go to find it. That's exactly right. One of 6 great locations, the Jack Giambalvo Family of Dealerships. Experience what the Giambalvo difference is all about and do it today. Check it out at GiambalvoPreOwnedInventory.com. And please, when you stop by there, tell them Gary Sutton proudly sent you to Giambalvo Family of Dealerships. WOYK News Time, 7:54. Mark.
So something that has been happening for a very long time is going to stop happening tomorrow.
Oh.
You know what that is? That's not much of a hint, is it?
The government funding our stuff?
Close.
That could stop tomorrow. Yeah.
Very close.
Social Security payments are going electric as the federal government moves away from paper in an effort, it says, to modernize its services and improve efficiency. Starting Tuesday, SSA begins sending benefits to its nearly 70 million recipients through either direct deposit or a prepaid debit card. The Social Security Administration has emphasized that electronic payments provide a safer and more secure way to receive benefits over paper checks that it says are 16 times more likely to be lost or stolen. SSA also says that paper checks cost 50 cents each to send, compared with 15 cents for an electronic fund transfer. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Think of that.
Well, that's okay. I guess it's a way of the time. Speaking of money, Mark, the American Dream, there's a group called Investopedia, just came out with a report.
Oh, yes.
And the American Dream now, over the course of a lifetime, how much do you think it costs?
What?
To achieve the American Dream over the course of a lifetime?
I would say $777,000.
$5,043,323 per household over the course of a lifetime. And that includes like retirement, $1.6 billion, owning a home, $957,000, owning a new car, $900,000. This is over a lifetime now. Raising 2 children and paying for college, $876,000. I mean, everybody's dream is different, obviously, but some human wants are universal. And this Investopedia found in compiling its September report that $5 million is what it is, $5 million plus change. Yeah. In an accompanying survey, the financial journalism site asked 1,263 adults to identify goals they associate with the American Dream. Most said they shared 8 aspirations: being able to live comfortably or be able to retire comfortably, being able to afford quality health care, owning a home, raising a family, owning a new car, going on a vacation every year, caring for pets, and having a wedding. And those are the 8 areas that they identified. And retiring in comfort was the 86%. That was the biggest one that people wanted, along with affording quality health care, 86%. And the other close one at 85% was owning a home. Those were the top 3.
Interesting.
So kind of interesting. $5 million, the average price now for achieving the American dream over a lifetime.
But I wonder how realistic that is.
I don't know. Yeah, well, it's only 1,263 people that they polled, but at the same time, it's an interesting number to throw out there. And then you start to think, you start to add it up over your lifetime. Well, how much has it costed me to achieve what maybe I consider to be my American dream right now?
Well, like cars.
Yeah.
They had almost $1 million just for cars.
Yeah.
Over the course of a lifetime.
Right.
I don't know. Is that? I mean, depending on the car, that seems a little high.
Well, exactly right. Or how often you buy one. Like in my case, it took me 10 years to buy another car.
Right. The last car I had was I'm holding on.
Studebaker, wasn't it?
It's not that
old.
old.
I'm kidding.
Hey, here's a woman who won a lottery with a ticket that was generated by AI. And then she decided to do something rather philanthropic with her winnings.
Carrie Edwards matched 4 of the first 5 numbers, plus the Powerball in the September 8th drawing, winning $50,000. But because she purchased a Power Play option, her prize tripled to $150,000. Edwards said she knew exactly what she wanted to do with the money. She's giving it away to charities. Her first check went to a group that supports research for those affected by early onset dementia. She also contributed to the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society, which provides assistance to active duty service members, veterans, and their families. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
And we want to remind you that this hour has been brought to you by the Bison Farm, local family-owned farm in Mount Wolf, owned by Tessa Verdict and also her husband Tupper Verdict, and they are just doing a wonderful job. You ever go down there and see the bison? It's pretty cool. But they have products at Central Family Restaurant and Augie's where they have bison burgers. And I'll tell you what, if you not have one, they are great. I had the bison sweet sticks this past weekend because I stopped in at the Bison Farm stand at the Central Market on Saturday and said hello to Tupper, and we were chatting a little bit. And I'll tell you what, those sweet sticks, I ate some of them during the football game the other night, really good and really good for you. Now, you can buy their products through the market stands at the Central Market that I mentioned, that usually on Saturdays, sometimes on Thursdays, but always on Saturdays. And the New Eastern Market on Fridays. They carry a full range of products from ground bison and burgers to steaks to roast to the sweet sticks that I had, also to the bison brisket. Check them out at thebisonfarm.com on the web, thebisonfarm.com, and find out why bison is the healthy red meat as well. And coming up this next hour, we're going to talk to Major Joe Decree about the shooting and the bombing of a church yesterday and setting fire on it. And the killing of people there, and still more to be found, unfortunately, here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK, where it is right now, 8 o'clock.
York's only local show is back on its new home on York's only local station.
Guess who's back again?
This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
I'm back.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
And welcome back to hour number 3 of the Gary Sutton Show here, starting a brand new week on a Monday morning. It's 8:05, live from Brooks Robinson Plaza at Wellspan Park. Mark McKenzie here with you. It is the 29th of September, 2025, the last Monday of September. A little melancholy about that today, Mark. You just kind of saying goodbye to summer officially. But, you know, it's also hello to October, right? I mean, we're getting ready for October. One more day of September, and then, boom, we're into October. I'm kind of excited about that, I suppose. So, anyway, lots going on. It is 60 degrees outside right now, but great to be with you here on a Monday morning. And we want to remind you that our presenting sponsor of our show every single day is Barley Snyder Attorneys at Law. You know, 130-plus attorneys practicing in Pennsylvania and Maryland in 29 different areas of law, all at one place, Barley Snyder. And Barley.com is where you can find out more about all of that. But, you know, they are right on the cutting edge. Innovative legal solutions they have for your business. They're a law firm for today's business world because they feature such a wide variety of practice areas and industry groups and service teams, all geared toward just one thing only, helping you achieve your business goals. Check them out at Barley Snyder and Barley.com. And right here in York, they're located at 100 East Market Street. You can give them a call at 717-846-8888, open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., weekdays, all here right in the middle of York, okay? So Barley Snyder Attorneys at Law, we're so proud to have them as our presenting sponsor right here on the Gary Sutton Show. You know, when you look at the last bunch of weeks, and I would dare say even longer than that, it seems like we can't go through a week without some horrible shooting happening, without someone shooting up a school, or the Charlie Kirk incident 2 weeks ago, or what happened here in New York County area with the 3 officers being killed, 2 more being wounded. This past weekend, we have yet another example of someone shooting up a Church of the Latter-day Saints in a suburb of Flint, Michigan, where a guy took a truck and ran it into a church while they were holding service there. At least 2 people dead so far, more expected to be found in the rubble. He set it on fire then. And he was shooting at people after he ended up crashing his truck in there. You know, it just happens too often. And I think we in society are looking around for a common strand of what ties all this together. Like we have a collective mind that goes out and does this instead of just individual sick minds going out and do it. But what is causing those people to do these various things? Is there a common strand that pulls them together? Well, Major Joe Decree has served in Kosovo, Afghanistan, Iraq. He has served in intelligence in Quantico, Virginia, where there's going to be a big meeting, by the way, this week of generals and the president. We'll ask him about that this morning. But he's with us here this morning live from Montana. He is a veteran and retired now. And good morning, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing great, bud. What's up?
Well, you know, we've been talking about the horrible events seemingly every week. We have somebody shooting something up. Yesterday we had a Marine veteran who ran a truck into a Church of the Latter-day Saints. The death count still added up. 2 people killed so far, a number of people in the hospital. This guy was apparently got out of his truck after he wrecked it into the building and shooting at people, set fire to the place, burned it to the ground. But we're seeing these kind of horrible things every single week. And I said, we're trying to make sense out of it. I'm not sure there's sense to be made, but you're now a man of the cloth as well. You're a guy who has a church. And you're a person who, you know, looks at the spiritual stuff and you think a lot. What's going on here? Is there anything we can do to make sense of all this? Or is there just, it's an individual situation for each one and that's that?
And we have how much time? you want me to dissect society problems?
Well, that's okay.
We got 6 minutes?
But I figure you're just the guy to do it. I use you like that every Monday morning. So there you go. My emotional
the common thread. Is this your therapy session? Or
this show is my therapy session every day, but go ahead, yeah.
All right, well, we'll give it a stab. Okay, so I have only questions because I know nothing about this guy.
Right.
So we say, oh, he's a Marine vet. Okay. And everybody wants to go to, he's got war trauma and PTSD. Well, we don't know that.
Right.
We absolutely have no idea if this has anything to do with that at all.
Let me ask you a question, though, very quickly before you go on. And this is interesting. Isn't it interesting if people go to that right away, though? That they'll say, "Oh, this guy was a veteran."
Sure.
Yeah, and then immediately, it tinges the story a little bit instead of saying, "Well, maybe this guy just broke up with his girlfriend," or something like that. Right. Yeah, go ahead.
Right, and because he's a veteran, the uber technical definition of veteran is one who has, been in uniform service in combat or a conflict or a campaign, right?
Right.
The expanded definition for VA benefits and stuff is anybody who served. So because you served doesn't mean you have a problem.
Right.
Because you've been in combat doesn't mean you have a problem with that. So, okay, so there's that. One, why the LDS Church? I have a lot of problems with Mormon theology, but I don't have a lot of problems with Mormons. All the ones I've met, I've got along with very well. They make great soldiers, by the way. Like people seem to like the Mormons. They show up. They're always positive. Okay, why the LDS Church? Was any church the thing? Was he with? Was his like you said, was his girlfriend in some church and decided, the pastor said, maybe you should think about, getting away from this guy, and he's like, I'm just going to take out the first church I see, because that happens too.
Right.
Is this, a guy who's just mentally ungrounded because we're not allowed to have mental grounding anymore? That's what from a psychology standpoint, that's what a lot of the mental health craziness is right now, is there's no truth. There's no grounding.
Right.
You stick your hand in your pants. Well, that's not meaningful anymore, because it could be anything, right?
And my truth is not your truth, all that
right.
kind of stuff.
If there's no truth, there's no grounding. And if truth is relative and subjective from individual to individual, then it's not actually truth, and there's no grounding. People who aren't grounded don't do well. From a spiritual perspective, everybody needs to get closer to God and try to emulate Christ's character as best they can and improve that across their lifetime. So, which is really all the Christian walk is. So, there's all this stuff wrapped up into this. Like clearly, and I would tell you, anybody who crashes their vehicle into a building, sets it on fire, and shoots people is not mentally healthy.
Right.
Like that is not a logical decision that sane people make. So clearly, this guy's in anger or grief or schizophrenia or something that makes this okay or the best option.
Right.
Is this a suicide by cop? Is this like, I'm going out in a blaze of glory? But again, why the LDS Church? Was it just the first convenient target that he could drive his truck into?
Yeah.
Or was it, what was that? Was it the time of day? Did he just get whatever news he just got that caused that? I have so many questions that,
right.
and there's no way, and because he's dead, there's no way to find this out. I will tell you, the common truth is religious organizations are targeted. Religiously oriented people and religious organizations are targeted. That's the common thread.
Isn't that interesting?
So, okay.
Why is that? What is that taking away the sense of right and wrong and truth? Yeah.
Because truth, you say, well, truth is relative. No, it's not. Your truth isn't my truth. Well, then it isn't truth. One of us is lying. That's what truth is. Now we can have different ways of using the truth. We say, okay, well, Bobby wants to be a girl. Okay, that's truth. Bobby wants to be a girl. Okay,
right.
So Bobby says he is a girl, so Bobby's a girl. Okay, that's not truth.
Right.
Okay, well, I would say, but it's Bobby's truth. Okay, Bobby's living a delusion. It's not Bobby's truth. Bobby's truth is Bobby's a boy who wants to be a girl. That's Bobby's truth. Bobby's truth is not that he's a girl. That's Bobby's illusion. That's how Bobby's using his truth. Now, we've conflated all that deliberately, and because we do, now nobody knows what the heck's going on, and nobody can make a darn decision. There's no ability to make a decision that is beneficial to society in that perspective. None whatsoever.
Yeah. Extrapolate.
And so, yeah.
Extrapolate out a little bit. We can't go through a week right now. We're not having somebody shooting somebody or killing somebody for some perceived thing. They're writing all their notes on their bullet, casings now and all that kind of stuff. Well, what's your take on all that? What is it? Social media? Is it notoriety? What's going on? Why people?
Well, I would say two things. One, I believe in the spiritual warfare, Ephesians 6, right? We do not fight against flesh. But also, we have spent 50 years trying to rock the foundations of this society and change it. Okay, well, here's the problem with revolutionary thinking and communism. It doesn't replace it with anything. It's just change for change's sake because somebody's unhappy because they're not in power, okay? And so this is why I hate communism, So when those people, get in power, this is all they know is to change, change, change. And so that's where we're at. We're in constant change for constant change's sake because somebody's unhappy. But here's the thing. There will always be somebody unhappy.
Right.
And as long as we're conflating truth and what to do with it, then there can be no greater good. If there can be no greater good, you don't have a society.
Interesting. Later on this week, I do want to switch gears just a little bit here for the time we have left. Later on this week, the president and Pete Hegseth, who's the head of the Armed Services, they're having a big meeting down in Quantico, your old digs. And they're getting everybody's saying about what's going to go on. Well, the president said it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. We're going to talk about things that are going well and so forth. But it's kind of weird that they called this meeting of generals who are coming from all over the world, by the way, who are part of our armed forces. What's your take on this when you hear about this meeting? Did that intrigue you at all?
Yeah, it kind of comes up at an interesting time. So I suspect they'll cover a variety of subjects, but I think that they'll cover two subjects most. One is transforming the military back to some warfighting machine because the Army currently, honestly, I don't think they're doing a great job of prepping people for bad things. Kids still have their cell phones and basic training. I think that's a bad idea. How do we undo all the DEI stuff that was done? The other thing is, what is the real readiness status of the United States Armed Forces?
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, that's not something I can enter into confidently anymore. And I mean, I don't have close contact with that. So there you go. On the one hand, we, in 36 hours or so, we launched a B-2 strike from Louisiana to Iran and took out some stuff. Well, that was pretty impressive.
Right.
So we can do that, but can we? If not thinking this is going to happen, just hypothetically, if we had to put a division in the Ukraine,
right,
how would they function?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think there's that, and then I think there's still a lot of generals act according to the administration that appointed them because those are political appointees. Every general every officer above the rank of first lieutenant, but if any officer's been promoted once gets promoted by their service. After that, it's voted on by Congress. General officers are voted on specifically, and it's a list that goes to Congress. Hey, anybody have an objection with this guy,
right,
being made major in the Air Force, and they all vote, and it's very pro forma, but it happens.
It's a rubber stamp, yeah.
Okay, so it's the final step, but it's usually a check the box step, because the congressmen are smart enough to know, hey, this is the service's choice, and this guy's done the thing, and we don't know what that is, so fine, give them what they need. General officers, that's very different. They actually are voted on by name, on the Senate floor, and so they are known, at that point a bit, the bios are circulated, it becomes that, right? So everything, especially 2-star general and above.
Yeah.
So there's probably some, going to be some people encouraged to get out. Hey, it's time for you to retire, Mr. 3-star general.
And I was wondering too if it's a kiss the ring kind of time too. I don't know, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this meeting. I just wanted to get your take on that. But hey, good having you on this morning. Thank you for the insights. Really good stuff as always. And have a great week, my friend. Okay.
All right now.
Take care, brother. Bye bye. Joe Decree, Major Joe Decree, retired now here on the Gary Sutton Show. He's now a pastor. He's a pastor at a church where they actually talk the language of the Army in the way they actually preach sermons and do their scriptures and so forth. It's really kind of interesting. Anyway, when we come back, we'll talk more about some of the other news that's happening. Maybe, Mark, some news you might have missed. could be some of that around the corner. And then later on, we're going to find out about literacy for change here in York County and what's going on there. All here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. It is 8:19.
Pitch, he swings, drives one, deep to right field. Gonzalez back, it is gone! Elvis Peralta! Elvis has left the building! Out toward the cannon, and the Revs have doubled their lead here in the sixth inning. It's 2-0. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss, he struck him out! To the Revs, it's a 2-0 final score. And Chris Valamont has pitched a one-hitter here to start off this championship series.
That was Saturday night, but on Sunday.
Swinging a line drive down the line in left field. It's a fair ball. It's a base hit. Martin around second, on his way to third. It gets away. He's coming around third. Relay to the plate. He dives. He's in. Did he touch the plate? Yes, he did. He was slow to get up. Tag applied just in case. Safe is the call. And Caleb McNeely has given the Revs the lead. RBI double down the left field line. It's 3-2 here in the fifth.
Yeah, Martin came around the plate, and as he dove into the, or came around to the plate, as he dove into the plate, he looked like a human jart. I mean, he just like, it wasn't really a slide as much as it was a plant.
Oh, my.
I was surprised he wasn't sticking with his head in the ground, but he got by there, and he's lying there on the ground, and so no call made by the umpire. So the catcher has the ball in his glove. He says, "Oh, maybe I should tag him." So he tags him, and then the umpire goes safe. You know, it was really interesting. They had tied the game up, and then later on took the lead by 1. But then High Point came back with 2 runs the next inning, took the lead by 1, and then 4 more runs the next inning, and they jumped out and eventually won 9-3. But Saturday night, the gem that Chris Valamont pitched against this lineup, which is, I'm telling you what, their lineup is so good for High Point. A 1-hitter. One guy got a double the whole night. That was it. And 15 strikeouts. I mean,
that's crazy.
And pitched a complete game, which you don't hear about at all anymore.
Really?
9 innings, and was absolutely sterling. And so the Revs losing last night, but still 1-1 going into High Point today. They're leaving at 9 this morning to head down to High Point, North Carolina. And, you know, the Revs are the best. They have the best record of any team on the road in the Atlantic League this year.
So when they leave, are they leaving from the stadium?
They're leaving right from the stadium here, yes.
Okay.
Now, what's also interesting, though, I think a number of them are driving their own cars because once the series ends, the season's over. Because our last game here at York was last night. Now, I don't know what happens as far as, if they come back. And but, you know, a lot of them live maybe close to there, Florida, North Carolina, whatever. And so some of them, I think, are actually driving down from what I understand. But nevertheless, they have to win 2 games out of 3. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they'll be right here on our station.
And they have never lost.
And they have never lost a league playoff series, a championship series. They are 4-0. This is their 5th one. And, of course, the defending champion. So lots to do next few days, but it's going to be interesting. Hey, by the way, lots to do down at Harvey's Rental right now. Come and see the largest selections of steel power equipment in York County. Right now, they have a free extra battery included. They got the BGA 60 battery-powered blower. And with leaves coming and all that kind of stuff, don't you want that? It comes with AK30 battery and an AL101 charger plus a free AK30S battery. You can shop right now by heading on down to Harvey's Rental. Harvey's Rental, of course, located right here at 1409 South George Street in York. You can give them a call today at 717-845-2789. They're open right now, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday. But they've got all kinds of wonderful deals down there. For example, buy 2, get 2 free, the AP300S lithium-ion battery. Buy 2, get 2 free down there. You can save $50 on the BR800X backpack blower. Yeah, get the backpack blower, and that's all right down there. They are a steel dealer, an elite steel dealer. And from mowers to trimmers to blowers, steel battery tools deliver performance you can count on and run times to match. Explore their battery chart to compare charge times, estimated working times, and system compatibility across AS, AK, and AP batteries. It's everything you need to power your planning when it comes to all your home outside needs. And we're talking about steel products located right now at Harvey's Rental. The most to rent under one roof. Why don't you check them out today at 1409 South George Street in York. Give them a call at 717-845-2789 or tell them Gary Sutton proudly sent you to Harvey's Rental, part of the fabric of York here for almost 70 years.
I'm just wondering whether I should buy stock in candy corn.
Candy corn? Why so?
Well, you know, ahead of the fall season.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Do
you like candy corn?
No.
You're not a big...
It's one of those where you the only way you eat it is if there's nothing else.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
And it's like, well, you know, it's better than nothing.
But I get that. Although nothing at least is something you're considering at that point.
Well, that's the alternative.
Yes. I know. I don't mind candy corn in moments, but it's just sugar. I mean, and I don't like to eat a lot of sugar. I don't like sugar kind of in my face anyway. So, but every now and then, little candy corn reminds you. You know what it does? It's nostalgic.
Yes.
Candy corn reminds me of a simpler day.
Yes.
When I was a kid, and that's That's all we had. And candy corn took me in when I was lonely. And no.
It is, by the way, a World Heart Day.
Okay. Which, if you're going to have a good World Heart Day, don't eat a lot of candy corn.
True.
Yeah.
VFW Day.
Thank you, veterans.
Confucius Day.
Yes.
Broadway Musicals Day.
I was afraid you were going to say that again, yes.
And
boy, what's it cost to get into a Broadway musical now? Holy smoke.
Probably less than the Ryder Cup. That's
Okay.
my guess.
Right.
I saw one where it said the tickets for the actual play were like $1,200.
Get out, really?
So, I
not
paid
worth it.
$500 for the practice round.
Individual?
And it rained, and most of them didn't practice.
Yeah, there you go. So do you get a refund on that?
No. I asked.
I thought I'd be silly for a second. I just thought I could I could emote some laughter from you. Yeah. Nobody came out and said, "Hey, Mark, we feel so badly."
Oh, Mark's here.
And then it's raining, and you had to back your plans up for a day.
Oh my!
Why don't we give you? And better yet, why don't we just let you in free?
Yeah,
make it Woodstock.
Wouldn't
all
that
over.
have been something?
Yeah, you'd have to pick yourself up off the ground from fainting.
Well, and the other question for a tournament like that is, do you? And I'm going to call it freelance,
right?
Which is where standing around the green, down the fairway or around the tee, and it's just random. And once it's 4 people deep, you really can't see anything.
There's nothing you can do. No.
Yes, or line up, there's a few holes, pay the extra money to sit in the stands. So it's an actual seat, and you do have some height advantage, so you can see a little bit like that. And it's a tough choice to make because there's no real, you either pay more money,
right,
or get there like at the crack of dawn. The gates opened on Friday morning, the first day of play at 5 a.m.
That's sick.
It is.
Anyway, when we come back, the York County Libraries are doing something to make our community better, and there's a way you can help out, and we're going to find out a lot about that. Literacy for Change from Robert F. Lambert, who joins us next right here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK, where it is 8:30. One of the easiest ones so far. That's got to be the A-Team.
It is.
I pity the fool.
Mike Post, 81 years old today, wrote just so many TV show themes. And
it's unbelievable how many. I never realized he did all these. They all kind of sound, you can see the common strands to all of them. Yeah.
Yes. So
very interesting.
We have one more. And it's the most introspective. When I hear it, it automatically conveys the show. I think. So and this one could have worked as well, and Magnum PI could have worked, but I think this other one is better.
And Mr. T,
I pity the fool.
Yeah, I pity the fool. And later on, he of course is in the third Rocky movie, where he got eventually beaten by Rocky, although he beat him to a pulp at the beginning. So yeah. Anyway, welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK. Well, I want to tell you this morning that you're going to meet someone who is going to tell you about what the York County Libraries are doing. They're unveiling a brand new initiative to support literacy and learning. And with us this morning is the York County Libraries President, Robert F. Lambert, to tell you a little bit about literacy and what they're doing to try to help literacy around York County. Robert, great to have you this morning. Wonderful to be here on the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. But you got some new plans, and October 10th is going to be a big date where these plans are going to maybe come into fruition. Tell us a little bit about this whole idea of supporting literacy and learning here in York County.
Well, I tell you, we gotta break the curse of Carnegie. All right. And here's what I mean by that. If you know your history, between 1886 and 1919, Andrew Carnegie funded the construction of about 1,700 libraries across the country. And, his model was to provide money for buildings, but never for the operations. So no books, no staff, no endowment. And, communities were required to pledge land and, ongoing tax support, usually at 10% of the building's cost. So the buildings were celebrated, but this created what we call, or what I call, the curse of Carnegie. And unfortunately, that legacy still haunts us today. Donors and governments, they fund the bricks and the mortar, while the true need of programs, staff, and innovation go unmet. So we created a model, Literacy for Change, that we are launching on October the 10th. And we're using the 5 literacies as our framework. The 5 literacies is a framework that the Pennsylvania Library Association created back in 2017. And, it's really built around 5 literacies: basic literacy, ensuring that every child and adult has foundational reading skills; health literacy, helping families make informed wellness choices. And you got financial literacy. We want to teach households how to budget and plan for stability. Civic and social literacy, equipping citizens with fully engaged information around democracy and information literacy. We want to prepare communities to navigate technology and this information. So every dollar we raise goes towards people and programs, not just buildings. And so we are building a sustainable, philanthropic model to ensure long-term impact. We got 93,000 library card holders, adult library card holders across the county. We were asking for $12 from every library card holder. That's $1 a month. It's more than $1.1 million in support for programs, expanding access, modernizing our programs, and really just building a sustainable engagement model of programs around those 5 literacies throughout York County Library.
So let me ask you this question, Robert. And of course, we're talking with Robert F. Lambert this morning, who is the York County Library's president. How do you get those that knowledge to be? How do you get that literacy in the 5 areas you talked about out to them and get them to absorb that and to take that kind of stuff in with the money that's being used here?
We build those programs into our existing programs, and we have on the horizon some new and innovative programs around youth. Teen programming. We're going to build upon our 1,000 Books for Kindergarten initiative, where we engage kids to read 1,000 books for kindergarten. We partner with many of the healthcare providers already in the county. And so we have strategic partnerships that we've identified that we're going to build upon, and we're going to build upon many of our existing programs and launch some new innovative programs as well.
And kind of stay tuned for some of those as well. Now, what can people do to help encourage this, to help fund it, to help get involved in this? You talked about mobilizing the 90,000 adult library card holders, but I'm sure you want to get out to a lot more people, even than those who are card holders right now, but who are interested in making their community better.
That's right. So the 24-hour day of giving on October the 10th, we're excited about that, looking forward to that. You can go on YorkLibraries.org website and sign up, create a fundraising team, or just tune in. We'll be live October the 10th for 24 hours, and you'll see what's happening. And we encourage everyone across the county to tune in and participate.
And they can tune in a lot of different ways, I guess, but Literacy for Change at YorkLibraries.org. Am I correct on that?
That's correct.
Literacy for Change, all one word, literacy, spell F-O-R, change, at YorkLibraries.org. And, there's going to be a lot about that before October 10th here, obviously, but this is a chance for us to help people in the community, not only to have access to books and different knowledge that's out there. I know you've talked about knowledge quite a bit, Robert, but to have people help them along the way and be partners with them and gaining that kind of literacy in those 5 different areas that you mentioned.
That's right. That's right, Gary. That's absolutely.
Robert, talk a little bit about knowledge. You said, I was reading some stuff the other day, and you said a great line that you were quoted. You said, quote, "Knowledge is truly transformative. It empowers growth, change, and success in individual lives and strengthens the entire community," unquote. I thought that was a profound statement because I thought, from the standpoint of, so many times we see things being said or see people doing things now, and the lack of knowledge holds us back from making some of the informed decisions that we need to make about different areas of our lives. And so I thought that was a very profound statement. Just talk a little bit about that and put some meat in the bone for that, will you?
Well, there's a plethora of information out there. And, the question becomes, how do you take that information, transform that information to knowledge, and take that knowledge and transform that knowledge into wisdom to make effective decisions? That's an iterative process. That's where libraries come into play.
Right.
And so, we exist to help people do that. You can't do that with Google. You can't do that with, with Amazon or, all of the other things out there. We help people take that information and transform that information to knowledge, and then take that knowledge and transform that to wisdom so they can make effective decisions in life.
Well, and the one thing that you also said, and I was looking at some of the quotes, that, and I've never thought about it this way, and this is such a simple thought, but I'm a simple guy. But libraries provide equitable access to collections, to resources, to programs at no cost to users, and everyone can learn and grow and excel. And it's the one place if anybody says, well, I'm not wealthy enough, or I'm not this, or I'm not that, no wealth involved here. It's equitable across the board. And I think that's one thing that people miss about libraries, which is the most obvious thing now when you really think about it, right?
That's right. It's equitable across the board. And, we have open doors, and we invite everyone to come in or, access whatever they need online. But, of course, our librarians, we want people coming through our doors asking the critical questions. We want the teens coming in after school and on the weekends and over the summer as they do, and we know they will continue to do, so we can continue to supplement and complement what they're learning in their classrooms.
Now, if you're interested in participating and learning more, you should go to literacyforchange.org, or you could also go there to make a donation. Literacy for Change at YorkLibraries.org, Literacy for Change at YorkLibraries.org. And just to make the full circle back around here, Robert, we're talking with Robert F. Lambert, who is the president of the York Libraries, York County Libraries. Robert, how can people get involved? The time frame again, October 10th, I know, is the big date. Tell people again to kind of close this out this morning.
Yeah, they can go online, sign up, and it's a simple process. Put your name information in there, and if you got any questions, you can also reach out to us as well. But we are looking to transform libraries into engines of opportunity. And this is just the beginning, Gary.
Literacy for Change at yorklibraries.org. That's Literacy for Change. Write it down at yorklibraries.org. The date, October 10th. You get started at midnight. You go all the way to the next midnight, and I think that's really one of the great things about this. You have 24 hours to give and help out, and don't we all want to do that to help people with literacy in those 5 core areas in our society. Robert, thanks for all you and the library system is doing here. Really appreciate you being with us this morning and giving us that information. We're looking forward eagerly to October 10th.
Thank you so much, Gary. Good talking to you.
Right, good talking to you. Robert F. Lambert here this morning, the York County Library's president. And again, October 10th, 12 to 12, 24 hours of giving to help people with literacy in 5 big areas like financial, planning, all kinds of different things there. You can check them out again at York County Literacy. And let me just make sure I give you that proper address right here. Literacy for Change at yorklibraries.org. That's Literacy for Change at yorklibraries.org. Thanks to Robert for joining us here this morning. We'll take a break. We'll come back with some final thoughts, some final comments, and yes, maybe some news you might have missed, all here, if we have time, on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. I don't even have to look up on this one. Is this Hill Street Blues?
Yeah, I mean...
Michael Warren, by the way, who was an actor in this, was the point guard on several of the national championship UCLA teams back in the day when they won like 9 in a row.
It was one of those shows where a lot of character actors.
Yeah, there really were. Barbara Boston, I forgot about her.
Yeah,
who was the guy that said, "Be careful out there"?
His name,
the sergeant.
Yes, I don't remember his acting name. But.
Yeah, he was a really cool actor. Betty Thomas. Ed Marinaro, who was a running back at Cornell, set the all-time record for yards one season. Yeah, Charles Hayde. Veronica Hamill. Yeah, she was another one. And they don't have the name of the sergeant on there.
Oh, well.
Be careful out there.
Anyway, it's Mike Post's 81st birthday. Wrote a lot of TV themes. And I think that a lot of memorable ones, and that's certainly one of them.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, we've covered a lot of areas today, both serious and not so much. But I did want to tell you a little bit about this afternoon at 4 p.m. at Thomasville Country Auction, where they have a sale. And they've got an interesting one today, Mark. They've got collectibles, salt and pepper shakers. There are people who collect salt and pepper shakers. Costume jewelry might be a good one right now for Halloween coming up here not too long from now as we get into October. A violin. Maybe you're the next budding violinist here in York County. That might be a great chance to buy that. A BB gun. If you're not a real good violinist, maybe someone will let you know with a BB gun. I don't know. But please, no, don't do that. Someone's going to say, Gary told me choose a BB. No. Pocket knives, watches, a sewing machine, all of that.
Gary.
I know. Well, you got to be careful anymore, don't you?
Yeah,
someone's like, he told me to do it. Yeah, okay, fine. Anyway, I didn't.
Well, that's a defense.
I know, yeah.
I'm Tim Barker, and I declare you free.
Yeah, thank you. Wire basket, electric grill, 5-legged oak table, books, Christmas decorations. It's never too early to get started your Christmas decorations. They'll be going up in about a week. Bubble lights, over 70 sets of salt and pepper shakers. We mentioned that. Costume jewelry, sewing machine, hardware organizer, snowmen, Longaberger baskets. Honey, don't listen. My wife loves Longaberger baskets. Toy airplane, Elvis books, and all of that. And it's all going on this afternoon at 4 p.m. Now, maybe it's your time to become the person having the sale. Yeah, have you thought about that? Maybe you have some stuff that's been gathered up, has some real value, but you don't have a place for it anymore. You're moving, you're downsizing. Maybe you have an estate to settle. I don't care what it is. Thomasville Country Auction is the place to go. And Jack and Cheryl Hooks are the people to call at 717-764-5403. Give them a buzz today. They'll come out to your home, and they'll take a look at all your items. They'll answer all your questions about a sale. You'll know what the heck you're doing when it all gets said and done. And then they'll get it on the right kind of sale or sales that best benefit you. They'll even help you haul the items from your house to their auction house and do all the work. And, when it comes to sell your real estate, Cheryl could sell your real estate and save you lots of money. So what are you waiting for? Give them a call today at 717-764-5403. Fall is a great time for a sale. And also, if you're looking around for a part-time or full-time job right now, Jack and Cheryl have those as well. Be part of their team. Join up. Give them a call today at 717-764-5403 or stop out and see them in action this afternoon at the sale. It's at 4 p.m. and it's to Thomasville Country Auction, Route 30 West at the railroad tracks. Where? In Thomasville. WOYK News Time is 8:54 rather.
So the deal is things that you did not know.
Okay. All right.
So let me ask you.
There's a lot of those, by the way.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Which can hold their breath longer?
All right.
A dolphin or a sloth?
I would think a sloth.
Actually, it is a sloth. Because you know why? You know why that doesn't work? Because it's so ridiculous. It's got to be. Yes, it's got to be the sloth.
Right. I mean, the dolphin's jumping around doing stuff. The sloth is just being a sloth. Like, I'm just a sloth. I'm just lying here.
Speaking of their slow metabolism,
yes.
Sloths can hold their breath. This is kind of shocking. For up to 40 minutes.
Really?
40 minutes. A dolphin can hold their breath for around 10 minutes.
Some of us wish some people would do that.
So what do you think the world record for a human is?
I'm going to say like I know I'm off the deep end here, somewhere around 7 or 8 minutes.
See, I saw this. I'm gonna Google this because it just does.
You don't believe it?
I don't.
Okay.
It's like this doesn't seem. It says that the world record for a human holding its breath is 29 minutes.
Get out of here.
And 3 seconds.
No.
See what I mean?
No.
All right. So I just popped it in, and that is a breath held voluntarily underwater. Yes. It was a guy from Croatia, and it happened earlier this year.
Was he hiding from his wife or something? What was going on?
It surpassed the previous record of 24 minutes and 37 seconds. Now, the guy who set the new world record prepared for his attempt, get this, by breathing pure oxygen for 10 minutes beforehand, and that increased his body's oxygen levels, so that allowed him to hold his breath for world record
That's
time.
still that number is off the charts, today.
Isn't it?
I would have thought like it's 7 or 8 minutes, and then you're pretty much
I was shocked
out of
when
here.
I saw it. So.
All right. Anything else?
Based on the average life expectancy in the U.S., if you're 18 years old, you only have how many weekends left in your life?
Yeah.
3,160.
Really? Doesn't sound like that much.
If you're 40 years old, based on average life expectancy, you only have around 2,000 left.
Really?
Yeah. But but who's counting?
Well, that ruined the day right there. I mean, gee, many Christmas. Yeah, I did see some news you might have missed this morning.
Right.
According to
Been a
experts,
while.
gas station sushi is actually pretty safe to eat. Although, keep in mind, most of those experts are from the toilet paper industry. So that's probably not.
And we didn't even talk about the Forever roll.
Oh, no, the Forever roll. Well, I was going to mention that. But now that you mention it, go ahead. The Forever roll.
I don't know if you've seen the ad on your Instagram or TikTok, but it's Charmin has come out with this box. It's a large box, and inside the box is a stand specifically created so that it will hold a Forever roll. That's what Charmin is calling it. It is a huge roll of toilet paper. And the thing is, in the box, there are 2 of them.
Right.
So I don't know how long it'll last. But looks like it could be a while. So if you were to buy that, you may not have to buy toilet paper for like
ever.
A few, well, not forever.
The Forever roll.
That's what it says.
Is that false advertising?
It could be.
See?
Technically. There you go.
Anyway.
One more?
Couple other quick ones. Amazon was fined for tricking people into signing up for Prime. Now, before you judge them, how accurate is that photo on your dating profile? I mean, a woman in England almost died when she yawned so hard it almost broke her neck. And she says it's the last time she ever watches soccer. She's not going to do it again. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the last 2. Let's see. Meatball pasta meals sold at Walmart may be contaminated with Listeria bacteria.
Oh, no.
Now, Walmart, never to miss an opportunity, has relabeled them as quick weight loss supplements. So that's you got to find the opportunity and all that, the positive thing.
There you go, yes.
And lastly, squirrels are attacking residents of a California town. Responded your dog, I told you they were evil. There it is. All that this morning.
I told you they were evil.
Oh, there it is. Here I am. So anyway, hey, thanks so much for joining us today. We're looking forward to tomorrow's show with you. Don't forget, we've got Revs baseball coming up tomorrow night as they pick up the series 1-1 in High Point, North Carolina. They're heading there this morning, and we'll be down there later on today. And then we'll have our normal guests tomorrow and some of our abnormal guests as well. James Sanders, for example. And we'll have them all right here on the Gary Sutton Show. Hey, be safe out there, everybody, today, okay? Thanks to Mark. Thanks to you. Thanks to all who texted and listened. We really appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm Gary Sutton. This is the Gary Sutton Show. It's 9 o'clock.